So we live. And somebody's in a good mood. Hey, baby. Say hello. Somebody's in a good mood. So yo, we live. What's up, guys? Hope I pronounced that right. We live. We lit. We mic. What's up, Tope? Elijah, what's up, man? What's up, MG? Very. Yeah, somebody's getting crunk in these streets. What's up, baby? Baby Kratos grew. Yeah, man. Yeah, he's getting bigger. He's going on what 9 weeks. He's 9 weeks this week. He looks like me, but I don't see it at all, man. I honestly don't see it. Like, here's the thing: like people say I look just like my dad or look just like my mom. When it comes to me personally, I can't see it. I don't see it at all. Like nothing. Like I mean, when it comes to like looking like me, I don't see myself looking like my dad or maybe a little like I think I look like my mom a little bit, but I just don't see it. But yeah, we were just laying on the bed. I lost track of time. He was talking like he's in a good mood today. He was talking to me for about 20-30 minutes. I had to take him out too. We had to. I was on a shift change because she been doing pretty much all the work for the last few days. So I took him on the trains and trams and just rode around a bit, and then took him to and just at this age, as long as you just keep moving with him, and as long as you just keep moving with him and walking while he's in the baby stroller, he'll just most of the time he'll either just sleep or chill out. Stop it. Yeah, so with and then I rode the slowest fucking like elevator for people with baby strollers in the underground. I rode the slowest one on earth. That shit took like 10 minutes to make it up 2 flights of stairs. Like that shit was pathetic. I'd been better off. And here's the crazy part: while I was waiting for it, a dude had seen me waiting on it and asked me if he wanted my help. He asked me if he wanted to help me carry him up the stairs. I said, no, man, like my back's fucked up. I really don't want to even carry him up 2 flights of stairs like that. I mean, I'd do it if it was an emergency, I'd do it. But I mean, I'd just wait, man. I just told him to go on. But he was a real cool dude, man. He just went out his way. Here's the thing, man. And I'll tell everybody this. When I be with him and I'm walking around the city with a baby stroller, especially one that's made for like those 0 to 6 months type of age. For people who know, oh man, men. Let me tell you something. Now, there's some women who've been legitimately good too, but men will come out of anywhere to come help. Like motherfuckers be jumping out of anywhere to come hold the door open. Like I remember one time I was leaving the mall, and I was all ready to go open the door for myself, and this older dude just seen it and was like I got it. And ran up there and opened the door. I was like, "Oh, word! Like, thanks a lot, man." Because here's the thing, I always tell everybody, "Thank you, man," because whenever you hold a door open for women, women don't do the whole thank you thing. They just walk through like they're entitled to it and shit. So they be like, he stopped liking being held like this lately. Yeah, here it comes. He don't like being held like this. He likes the best. Come on. Like this. This is his favorite position. Yeah, I know. This position saved my life for about I'd say from about 2 weeks to maybe 5 or 6 weeks. This was like guaranteed to put him. If I walk around like this and do this, within 5 minutes he'd be asleep on my chest. But then the hard part would be once he'd fall asleep like this, would be like to get him off of me and laying down because he want that warmth and all that shit. So I put him down and fail. As soon as I put him in the bed, he'd wake up crying because I wasn't holding him. Had to pick him up and do it all again, all that shit. Because I never did the newborn thing. This is all new to me. I always had kids who were bigger. Oh, he's almost old enough to go to a brothel. He's definitely got your head. Yeah, I got a big ass head. I got a big ass head. And he said, nah, he don't look like you. Word up, word up. But here's the thing, I don't think any babies look. I don't think people say, "Oh, he's a cute baby" and all that. Like, I don't like the way people's babies look. I think like maybe some people do. I don't get it. I'm like, look, man, this motherfucker look weird to me. Like, you know what I'm saying? Because everybody's baby looks like one of the two people who had a part in its, you know what I'm saying, in making it. So it's like, so they can see themselves in some capacity in him. So I get like when people love their baby, but like seeing other people, like I don't get it. I don't get seeing other people's babies literally do nothing for. I remember one time I was on a train coming back home, right? After being on my shift, because when I'm on my shift, I'll just ride the trams and the train, right? And it ended up being me and two other dads in the same area, like just walking around, taking our kids out for walks and shit. And Kratos and his other dude, I think he had a girl, and they you could tell they were probably about the same age, and like I just don't see it just does nothing for me to see to see kids. It does nothing for me. Yeah, I think he might get ready to go to sleep because when he started leaning to the side like that, I mean he's trying to relax. Because a few times, like for a while, what worked was he would fall asleep like this, with his head like that was like his go to for about. No, it lasted for probably about 3 or 4 days. That was his. Yeah, he getting tired. I'm ready to take him into his mom because he getting tired. And I think my voice puts him to sleep, man. Because here's the thing: when I get to talking and I just be letting loose and going, he goes right to sleep. But then when I be trying to be quiet around this little motherfucker, then he be like, "What? Like, motherfucker, did you just breathe? Like, damn, for real? Did you just cough a little bit?" But I could just keep going like this. And look, because when his hands start getting in his face, yeah, he getting ready to go to sleep. Yeah, if I bet you he gonna be sleeping about 5 minutes after I take him to the other room. Yeah, he getting ready to go to sleep. Look at him. Like yeah, he getting like it's like the more like it's almost like the less I give a fuck, the more it puts him to sleep. Like the less I give a fuck and talking loud and just being wild, the more it puts him to sleep. But then when I try to put him to sleep, that shit don't it just doesn't work for me. I gotta be yeah. He's fighting it now. I'm gonna take him in another room. I'm gonna be right back. Man. I'm gonna take him in another room because he up here fighting it. I can see in his eyes he getting tired. And he got the laying down, getting relaxed on my hand. Yeah, I'm gonna take him in another room. I'll be right back. They left she. All right, I'm back. Y'all still there? I'm back. All right. So she getting ready to go ahead and give him a bath because that's gonna go. That bath is gonna knock him on out. All right. I would say he looks like his mom, but I don't know what his mom looks like. Everybody, they call him, little me. I don't get it. Everybody here calls him little me. I don't get that shit. I just don't. I mean, when it comes, I mean, like, he's cool, but I just don't. I'm not that good with seeing the shit like that. All right. Elijah says, I'm like that too now. Once babies become 1 or 2 is when they start to look. Yeah, yeah. Because like now, it's like now they can start actually talking and and they just grow a little bit, and it's like then they like little people. But like now, I mean, he's starting to grow into it now. Because when I was on the tram on the way back, like I noticed he actually can realize something's out there now. So like when I was on the tram, the other tram was coming while we were going, so it was like like a fast view. It was like a fast what's the word to use, like come by or whatever. And his eyes like lit up like he was scared. He went so he actually he seen something that startled him. So he's actually aware of objects now, at least in some capacity. Let me open up my emails. Because no joke, I was getting tired. Like I almost didn't live stream, honestly, because I was getting tired. Let me. Oh shit, this is the wrong one. Okay, hang on. Okay, yeah, we left off with Steve Harvey's adopted daughter. That's where we left off at. So let me. And then I ran across a dude I was supposed who like I knew I was gonna fuck that timing up with. We were supposed to grab a beer last night. What I wanted because he moved outside of Prague. He got tired of living in Prague. I don't blame him. I don't blame him. Like, Prague is a weird spot, man. And here's I don't blame the Czechs who don't like Prague anymore. I really don't blame them. Wait, is this? Wasn't the chat box up? Did the chat box never even pop up? Let's see if it'll pop up now. But yeah, I don't blame. Yeah, this is live. What's up? Oh, yeah, I'm over. Yeah, yeah. Thumbs up. Today's date is Wednesday, August 17th. Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, I knew I was gonna fuck that up. That meeting for a beer. Let me find myself. Make sure the audio's working. Today's date is okay. Yeah. Yeah. The chat box just randomly stopped working. Or maybe it didn't stop working. Maybe because I switched out of here and it came back. Maybe it was working before. Let me look real fast. No, it was never working. Because I see it with me and the baby. And there's no chat box. 80, can you react to one of my videos? I said, yeah, let me get it. Yeah, because I sent, yeah, I did see sent. Okay, let me go over Messenger up to you. Waiting for it to open. For some reason, it's taking extra long. Okay, here we are. Okay, I see. Here it is. Yeah, yeah. Courtney
Lambert.
What is this title? See now, okay, personally, I don't want to do that. Like, this title was funny. I like the title. I always liked Donovan Sharp, man.
Lambert.
I always like this title was like did you because okay, here's the thing. I don't like to use names because in my theory
Lambert
of using names, my thing is using names will allow people to focus too hard on one woman. And my objective is not to get you to focus, not to get anybody to focus on any one woman. My thing is to get you to focus on the realities of what women do. Now, I don't like, again, like that's a main reason why I never put a woman's name. I don't think I've ever put a woman's name in any title of video. Because it wasn't like the not start drama or anything like that. Because there's been plenty of women who were on TV and on fucking doing porn and all that shit who got a hold of my videos and made a response video to it or just commented in the comment section, and I had to and I was talking through them in there. Like, it's not I'm like afraid of drama or anything. It's just that my objective for doing this is to not. Oh, it's not even on the thing. Hang on. my objective is not like I don't want any guy to focus on any one woman. My thing is for guys to notice the consistencies in what women do, right? So that's why I've never put people's names in my shit, right? That's why I've never done it. Cause I mean I'm not. It's not about okay. If it were to come to drama, I mean, what? I would essentially damn near become like the Eminem of this shit. Like because even though I will make fun of like Annie and everybody, nobody can say I'm ever lying about anything I'm making fun of. If I start roasting, like here's the thing, if I start roasting, it's gonna be like some real shit. So this is the video that I think it was Elijah. This is the video that that Elijah said Courtney Riot is a useless relationship guru. That's a wild title. That's a wild title. I think it's funny, but again, I mean, I've always liked Donovan Sharp shit. I've always liked, when I used to watch, other Manosphere guys, like years ago. I've always, like he was one of my favorites. Um, so I mean, hey, and I hope, hey, I don't wish anybody's channel to go down or anything like that. Never had that. I hope I've never, inferred that in any kind of way, man or woman. I hope everybody the best. And okay, here's the thing. Overall, I hope for most people, I overall hope for them the best. I don't hope anybody to just to go man, woman, whatever the fuck, dingbat, whatever. Like I still hope for them the best. Again, my objective of my channel is just to realize just the dumb shit that bitches do and to put it out there because if guys like me didn't put it out there, men would either wouldn't notice it or a lot of guys would be too afraid to even acknowledge the deep realities because they'd be afraid that nobody else out there would openly see it and openly talk about it. Rana said she had a video on simps and how women view them. It was interesting. Caught it on the Amazing Lucas channel. Word up. Well, yeah. Again, in my opinion on that, on how women view simps. Here's the thing: is okay because again, woman essentially enters the dating market at the top of whatever her game is going to be, right? Without much effort. Okay. So again, when it comes to being sexually attractive, women don't know how to see themselves as sexually attractive. They have to wait for the confirmation that they're sexually attractive, right? So so by the time guys end up in the dating market, they like I said last night, most guys we just want to just be with we just want to be with an attractive woman. Just sit with us. We just want the woman to just sit with us. Just be with us. Just sit in the kitchen while I'm in the other room. Just be somewhere and be. We just want the woman's company, right? But in the reality of it, the woman actually has done nothing to earn, any of this other than her biological place and time at the moment, right? So, so when guys are thinking that they're gonna like sneak into her pussy by buying her shit or agreeing with everything she says, the woman knows. All right, the woman knows when the guys are doing this. Women know because again, her brain is not clouded by what you seeing. Listen, like this woman right here. She's not an awful looking woman. We all can agree. She's a little cockeyed, but she's not an awful looking woman, right? She wouldn't have a problem finding a spouse. But here's the thing, her view on the reality of the dynamic between her and let's say the simp is totally different, right? Because her view, she doesn't have that same male testosterone driven urge to want just because of what she looks like. She doesn't truly understand that. So when the guy is coming off as awkward, which he has every right to be, and I'll touch on that later, when the guy is coming off as awkward and he's like trying to, because all he wants is just all man want initially is just the embodiment of this. That's it. Everything else is second fiddle, okay? this is the lead fucking instrument right here. Just her appearance and the fact that she can appear that she's figured out how to turn on a water faucet and clean her face. And and just be a woman. After that, to straighten, all that hair is gonna, that'll add to it. But initially, the core is there, right? So when the guy's all awkward and he's trying to get her attention, she doesn't see this, right? She sees that there may be other women who have done these similar makeup artists, these similar makeup tutorials, and they got attention on Instagram and all this. But she, as an independent woman on her own and her own mental thought processes, she doesn't see it nor get it. So when the guy's trying to do all this, she immediately clocks the ones who she knows like she doesn't like, but she'll use him for his money or she'll use him for his free attention, and it literally means nothing to her. Except validation, at best, validation for when the guy she really wanted pumped and dumped her, or kicked her, or the guy she really wanted left her, or whatever the fuck like that. Like it's a really hard thing to fully explain concisely, but she doesn't see that. You see what I'm saying? Like she doesn't. So when a woman comes across a scent, I'm trying to think what's the equivalent for for a man. I don't even. Maybe okay. Here, maybe it's like how a dog is to like a man giving a dog like a treat or something. Like just how blatantly obvious that the dog is coming around you because the dog figured you have a treat type of shit. That's the dog is the man and the woman is now the owner type of shit of the dog, right? It's just that pathetic to the woman. If that makes sense, I think that's a concise way to put it. It's like a dog who knows the owner is probably gonna give it a treat. So now the dog straightens up and act like it has sense. Or now all of a sudden the dog knows how to sit down when it wants to go outside for a walk, and all that shit like that. Like the dog automatically knows how to act when it's something it wants. That's essentially what simps are to women. You see, whereas like okay, so when you got the dog treat, you don't feel it or see it. You see what I'm saying? You didn't even notice. Like, oh, Roscoe wanted a dog treat. That's why he was doing that. You had to think about it later. That's what bitches do to simps. Like, oh, he wanted some of my attention. That's why he's trying to buy me all this shit. And then she just sells it whenever she, feels like it. Then when she don't, she's out. Man, just like a nice chat with a woman once in a while. Yeah, yeah. Super. What's good, AD? Baby Cradles is too cute. I'm hitting the train after the stream so I can try to put myself back out there. I don't know what to say. Any suggestions? Just get out there and start. Number one, the nut super. I'm glad you tuned in. I'm glad. Yeah, and I remember you. I remember you very clearly, man. Yeah, I remember you very clearly. Um, the number one step, I'd say 80% of anything is just to get up and have the willpower to try. After that, you're gonna find what's gonna work for you. And here's the thing, man. And this is why I say all the time also, women don't realize how easy they have it in the dating market. The hard part for women is to try to get a man that they think the more popular women want and then try to keep that man. But women don't realize how easy they have it in the dating market. Meaning, okay, like for us, like Super, you say you gonna get out there again and blah blah blah. Which I remember your living situation. I'm kind of curious as to what happened, but I don't know if you want me to tell everybody your living situation. But I remember that situation. So for a man, see, we have to go out there and do all the initializing, all the heavy lifting. We got to lead and do this and do that. And all a woman's job is essentially to do is just make sure she figured out how to take a bath, have her hair at least kind of straight, or just looking halfway decent. And after that, it really doesn't matter what kind of clothes she's wearing because we can see her body through all that. Now women they kind of get caught up a little bit on expensive dresses because again women they don't have deeper personal value, so all their value comes from the materials around them. But they blame men for this, for having the same concept. But yeah, as a man, the number one thing as a man to go out there is because men actually have to try. Right? Women can just walk around, just exist, and just wait. But men, we have to go out there and try. So my number one, my mic is low. Okay, let me turn it up. It should be up a little bit higher. Hope that's better. Yeah. This Streamlabs, man, didn't touch a thing. Let me. I mean, I. But men, we have to go out there and try.
You're
so
right.
my number one, my mic is low.
I'm trying to catch it.
It should be up a little bit higher. Hope that's better. Yeah. This Streamlabs, man, didn't touch a thing.
All right, is that because it's barely hitting the red right now. She's still here in full. Oh, okay. Full. That wall is no joke. I feel like I'm learning to think and live all over again. Yeah, man. That's what happens. Yeah. Especially like when men start to age and start to wisen up a bit. See, this is our time to now grow and start to catch our stride and figure it out. Whereas women, they hit that shit at an earlier age because they're essentially just want it just because they're a woman for no other real practice, for no other real application, just because she's just a physical woman. So she hits that stride. Woman, like this one right here, she hit her stride, well, really effortlessly when she was probably about 14, 15. There was always some guy who liked her at school and she didn't like him and all that. And she didn't even, and she thought so lesser of him that she don't even acknowledge his existence. And she knows it. Now, she'll never admit to it, but that's what happened, right? So women, they catch their stride much earlier in life, pretty much effortlessly, right? Whereas men, we catch our stride. But as men, we catch our stride, but we catch our stride after becoming, for whatever reason, from whatever reason, right? We have to become and be stronger. So let me start off with this video that I ended off last night with stepdaughter.
At 21, I don't want at 25.
Right.
But at 21, I can't really speak to where she was
outside. Wow. That's what I'm saying.
Two different
like,
mindsets, two different. I don't even know her anymore.
Wow.
I don't know who she is. What does she do?
Wow. What she do?
What?
Yeah, and like I left off with last night. Whenever a woman goes into this territory of 21-year-old me wants something different than 25-year-old me wants, what that usually means is at 25 she figured out that she could have been sucking dick for more money. When you boil it all down, when you get rid of all the bullshit and nonsense, what that usually means is when the woman goes, oh, 25-year-old me and 21-year-old me are two different, blah, blah, blah. I don't even know who that person is. What that's going to translate into, listen to me on this, 9 times out of 10, unless she's like hardcore career driven or something like that, especially with a woman who thinks she's cute, what that's going to mean, I'd say at minimum 9, if not 10 times out of 10. The core breakdown of that statement means I should have been sucking dick for more money, but I was doing it for lesser money. Now I figured out how to suck dick for more money now. That's essentially what when you break it all the way down, that's essentially what it's going to come down to. Okay?
Listen, don't judge me based off that man.
Because she's not here anymore.
She's not.
What's so interesting about this is that you heard what she said. She said she knew the bad choices and decisions, but now that she's 25, apparently 4 years ago, is a completely different human being than what she is today. But it sounds like they're about to get into that live life with no regrets, my truth is. So let's just keep going.
This is who we're dealing with today. So
address me as such. Address me as today.
Yeah. I'm telling you, when you break down that statement of 21-year-old me is, I don't even know that 21. When you break it down, it's going to break down to the core breakdown is going to be 21-year-old me was sucking dick for lesser money. 25-year-old me knows how to suck dick for more money. Now, I'd say that's the brutal core of it. Now the soft core of it would be 21-year-old me didn't know how to apply makeup right and I wasn't dressing right to attract better men. At 25, now I learned how to attract better men by dressing right. But now, like I said, you break that down to the next deeper core, it's going to be, she figured out how to sell her hoes better to better men at 25 than she did at 21. Because she was just too dumb. She had her essentially speaking, her prostitution experience just wasn't that high. At 21 as it is at 25 when she's cracked down and honed it. And she learned how to read between the lines of what they call like dusties and all that. She learned how to read between the lines. That's what it's going to come down to. I'd say at minimum 9 times out of 10. Absolute minimum.
Okay?
Would Joe say yesterday's price,
It's
not today's price?
Yeah, but yesterday's price is higher than today's price.
I like Bumble because I make the decision versus feeling like somebody's like swiping through my pictures like, I don't like her. I don't like her bikini. The boob's not big enough. You know what I'm saying? Like something like that. And I'm just, with me, I'm like, okay, I get to choose.
But you still on Bumble though. You 3, 2, 1. 1, 2, 3. What the heck is bothering me? Almost lost it there. She's still on Bumble. She's still in online dating. Literally the junkyard of women. As I say, COVID was a special situation, but outside of COVID, online dating is the junkyard. It's all the women who couldn't sell in real life. So now they got to hide. They had to, again, and I say this all the time on my older videos. Let me make sure the audio's still working right. Situation, but outside of COVID. Okay, yeah. Yeah, so I said this at least a year ago on my channel. I said this about at least a year ago. Really consider the depths that a woman has to go to do online dating. And let's break it down literally step by step, right? So woman literally sells just by existing in public, right? And okay, and to prove my point, look at any bar, club where women get in free and, you know, all that shit, right? Because women will bring them, men will go where the women are, right? So woman literally sells by existing in public and doing nothing else, right? So she's gone out there, existed in public, and existed so long in public that no man is sitting down, and no man who is good enough for her is going to sit down and take her serious and keep her and, you know, and wife her up and all that, right? And she's been existing doing this for at least a few years, right? She's been broken down so badly that she sits somewhere in silence and hanging out and fucking thought to create an entire online persona to try to get a man that way, right? This is after she's been ran through, pumped and dumped in the real world and been seen, met, heard of at Starbucks, fucking the mall, the grocery store, TT cousin's house, all these motherfuckers, right? All these motherfuckers, her and her family know she's single and she still can't keep no man. Her colleagues at work, the gas station clerk, all these motherfuckers have seen her so many times. And out of all these people, she has burnt so many bridges and or simply was not attractive to the men who she wanted in real life that she had to sit at home and create an entire online persona because she's so undesirable in real life. You see? Think about how deep that women, and like, okay, because my girl, her friend used to work for them sites, and she told us, look, 90% of those women simply don't have to do that unless they're super fucked up. Like I said, COVID was an exception because you couldn't go anywhere during COVID, so COVID was an exception. But 90% of those profiles in online dating are not real women, or they're just screenshots of women taken from another state or country to make you think there's more women in the area. Most of those profiles are fake. Okay? Because women just don't have to. They don't have to. So by the time a woman is, and now and then now on top of that, she now has the courage to sit up and try to brag about how she's still in online dating. She still can't attract a man to get her off online dating, but she gets to make the decisions. Are you fucking serious? But see, like I said, this is why I make my channel, is to trigger your brain and to think about the total reality instead of just the immediate, the initial immediate reality of what you're going to see based off how somebody dresses it up. Let's open up the whole fucking picture. All right. Again,
Women sell just by walking, just by motherfuckers knowing there's a woman living in that apartment over there, and I heard she's kind of cute. Now everybody got that. And if you ain't never done this, you lying. If you heard there was a hot girl that lived in your building or something like that, and you and some other guys start talking about her, now you always kind of on the lookout for her. Is she out? Is that who Dante was talking about? Is that her? I seen she be wearing them flip-flops sometimes, and you said she wore some red flip-flops. I think I seen her. You see what I'm saying? Out of all this. Think about all these scenarios. Out of all these scenarios, something always seems to happen where the woman ends up single again. I wonder why. I wonder. Like, something ain't right. Think about it. Something ain't right. Something's not right about that. Because she's going to get cock. Woman is going to get dick. Because she's woman. Somebody, all she got to do is sit back and wait for man to get horny. And she's going to get offers for dick. So, but here's the thing. When women end up as broken down as this woman on the left is, by the time women get broken down as badly as they are, see, women have no concept of value, right? Very few women genuinely have a true understanding of what is truly valuable. Women's values are based off the men who they want values are, right? So men always value men who could get a bunch of pussy and do this and do that. So women try to turn themselves into men thinking they're gonna beat the system, and she's thinking that she sounds better because she's full of options and she decides who she likes and who she don't. Bitch, nobody likes you. You still on Bumble. If somebody liked you, you wouldn't be on Bumble. If somebody liked you, you wouldn't be switching through Bumble, Tinder, OkCupid, all the fucking Hinges, or whatever, all them goofy shits. If a man liked you, you wouldn't be on there. But you still there. Why you still there? Because you're undesirable in real life. Fucking period.
It's on your terms.
Like that.
On your terms.
Yeah.
We just spoke about that
It's
earlier.
on your
Get on your
terms.
terms.
Always on my terms.
And maybe on your terms to give up the insides of your viscous innards, but it's still not on your terms for getting married. And I think what's interesting about this component of the conversation is that they brought a normal woman, right, a private life woman, and they're putting her in front of two celebrities that are rich and famous. Because I think the point is there is to show a degree of authenticity or normalcy there, because the average or the normal people are watching them. And I think therein lies a particular problem for a potential viewer, is that they think that they can make these same or similar decisions that the famous women make and not suffer the same consequences. Ciara getting a Russell's Wilson had nothing to do with her prayer, had a lot to do with that she's rich, famous, and beautiful. So the analogy there is like me getting dating advice from a famous rapper or famous entertainer. It just doesn't make sense, because at the end of the day, our lives are fundamentally different.
As a husband and father, I feel like I'm just an unglorified wallet and no one respects me or even acknowledges my contribution.
It always amazes me when I hear this, because the kind of men that complain about it are usually the ones that put themselves in that situation. And I'm going to tell you what amazes me.
Firstly, I say I agree with her. Yeah, the men who end up in these situations are men who put themselves in a situation. Yeah, like, okay, and this goes on what I used to say in older videos too. See, even when a guy is being a simp, he's still leading the woman for real, the simp, because women do not take control of anything, right? Women do not when it comes to women, and women will agree on this, women do not take control of anything. Woman is patiently sitting down waiting how to follow whatever the man wants, right? Then after that, then she just kind of decides if she wants to follow it or not. But she's waiting on the... Women do not run shit. They don't want to run shit. And to be honest with you, they can't run anything of value for too long. And that's just historical fact. Call it hate speech if you want. That's historical fact. They're not going to run it for too long before they run into the ground and they're going to run looking for a man to come fix it. That's just a fucking fact. Period. Right? But no, I agree with her. Yeah. By the time a man feels like he's just a wallet and all that shit, it's because the man put him in that situation. I'm gonna give my opinion before we hear her perspective of it. So my opinion of it is this. Again, women are just sitting back and waiting for what a man's gonna do. And then her woman's whole career in it is to sit back and try to decide if she wants to follow that or not. That's it. Right? So when the man fucks around and goes, okay, I'm buying you a house, I'm buying you a car, I'm buying your shoes, I'm buying you all that. And she goes, well, he said he'd do it, because a woman is always sitting back patiently waiting for the guy to make any decision that he's going to make. Right? The man is always the fucking leader. Now, again, even when it comes to the man being a simp, because the simp is ultimately, he's choosing to be a simp. The woman, now the woman can try to get some type of ultimatum, like, I want you to do this and nothing, blah, 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 and all that like that. But even it is still the man's choice to do it. You see what I'm saying? It's still the man's choice. So in the end, the man is still, even the simp is still leading in. Okay, the reality of what's happening is the simp is still leading the woman. It's just, but he's leading the woman down whatever fetish he has at the time, or desperate measures he has at the time. But the woman is still following that. A woman cannot go out there and make one man buy her anything. Find me one woman who can go out there and make a man buy her something without putting a gun to his head. No woman can do that. When it comes to making choices and all this, women, no. Find one man who go out there and make a man buy her something. They can't do it. Ultimately, it's going to be the man who decides to just give in and do it. So I agree with her, but let's hear what she has to say. Because I agree with her initial statement. The men put themselves in that position. Yeah.
Me when I hear this, because the kind of men that complain about it are usually the ones that put themselves in that situation. And I'm going to tell you why. I want you to think back to a time when your wife asked you to do something as her partner, and you responded by saying that you didn't have to because of your paycheck. And I want to think back to a time when your kids asked you to play with them, and you blew them off by saying that you had paid for their toys. I'm asking you to remember those moments because you told your family that you're only a paycheck every time you refused to be a husband and father because of it. They kept asking you to be more than a wallet, and you kept showing them that you didn't want to be. He says he feels like they don't even acknowledge his contribution, but they do. And if your only contribution is money, then why are you surprised that they only see you as a wallet?
Go for love.
I can agree with that. I can agree with that. I can agree with that. For sure, yeah. I can agree with that. Because I touched on that a while back too. Okay, it's pretty much I say it's almost like that Ricky Williams shit, or that other black dude I covered a long time ago, where he was making fun of guys talking about you should take women out and buy them more shit, stop being broke with y'all's cheap asses, fly bitches out and all shit like that. Okay. And like the video I did where I actually didn't even record it, but the guy was trying to sell his house for his woman and all that. See, men, we don't have practice in showing our love properly, right? We don't have a lot of practice in emotions and all that. So when shit just gets too difficult, a lot of guys' immediate thing is to give up whatever he deems valuable, which usually it's going to be money. Usually money's the number one thing, right? Money is the number one thing that no matter where you go on earth, somebody wouldn't mind having a little bit more of it, right? Money is usually the go-to. But what seems to happen, okay, like for example, with Ricky Williams or the dude I covered yesterday on the first live stream, the first part of live stream, he tried to give his house up for the woman and all that. Okay, what ends up happening when it's just money is when it's money is at some point the guy's gonna look for repayment for that and bring it up in an argument and all that shit, right? And when it hits that point, like don't you see what I did for you? I bought your kids, I bought you this, I bought you that. What he secretly was trying to buy their respect, and you can't do that with women. Like I said, now a woman will let you buy her shit. Don't get me wrong. I mean, most women will let you buy them shit. It's like I said again, it's that's just the universal lubricant is money, right? But when it comes to actually getting respect, you gotta get into their heads. Money from the man, I mean, like I said, she'll take it, but you're setting that because again, here, and okay, now here's a deeper part that she's not gonna touch on. When it comes to shit like this, women and children are the same. They don't have, how she stated, how you come to your woman and you just buy her something. You come to your kids and you just buy them something. Do you wonder why? Blah, 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 blah. Okay, so the deeper fucked up part that she's not even intelligent enough to pick up on, right? this I was gonna say young woman, but she's definitely not young. The part that she's not even intelligent enough to catch on, because again, women don't even realize what they do, right? Women are the equivalent of children yet again, right? Because now, while a woman is technically a grown adult, unless a woman has gotten training from guys like me or better than me in the world, she does not know how to put her foot down and try to ask for respect, try to ask for, better respect out the guy outside of like trying to start an argument, right? She doesn't know how to do it. Like, again, she's literally, women and children are going to be the same in this regard. They're going to sit around, wait for you to do something and figure out if they want to follow it or not. They're not going to stand up for themselves and require something, on the back end from, type of shit. Or if they do, it's going to come out some argument shit to kind of make you be the bad guy and make you just, talk yourself into giving her whatever she wants, kind of thing like that. It's not going to be genuinely righteous approaches to stand up for themselves as a true independent adult. So while on one hand, yeah, I do agree with her. I agree with her. But on the back end of it, and again, she doesn't realize her own nature as a woman. See, as a man, you have to keep all this shit going. You have to keep all accounts accounted for, like where you're depositing, your time, emotion, money, and all this. You have to, because she's not going to do it. Oh, no, well, correction. She'll do it, but she's not going to stand up to fix anything. Okay. Again, women are like children. The women and the children are going to sit around and wait for whatever that man's decision is and then decide if they want to follow, if they're going to be happy, if they're going to be really satiated to any bit, all that shit, right? They're the same. Now, on one hand, yeah, I will give her credit. I do agree. But on the back end, the reason why with children, that's acceptable because it's not a child's job to stand up to dad and say, hey, like you need to do this and blah, 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 blah. It's not their job because they children. But a grown-ass adult, see, this is where women want to be grown adults when it's convenient and easy, but when it's not going to be super easy, then they want to be children again. You know what I mean? But yeah, I agree with her. But I agree with her. But the deeper logic on it, it just exposes, woman's true nature and all of it.
Is money, then why are you surprised that they only see you as a wallet?
Yeah.
Go for looks because the ugly ones will treat you just as badly. It's true. And I think a lot of us have recognized that. I think a lot of women have gone for people that they didn't find particularly attractive because they thought that they would be more humble and treat them better. And then their ego is like as big as it would have been if they looked like Zac Efron. The question is, why did we think that that was going to work? Women put their entire value in the way they look. Society has taught us to do that. Our value is measured in how many men want us and how many men find us attractive.
Among other women, yeah.
Men, on the other hand, have never been taught that. Men are human first, ugly second. And it's quite the opposite with women when we think about it in the way society views us. A man's value has never been measured in how attractive he is to women. A man's value can be measured even more in economic output, how much money they're making. And that's still based off of capitalism and the patriarchy. But thinking that a man's going to be more humble because he's not seen as attractive to most women does not work for a reason. Because he's still a man. Doesn't matter to him.
Wait, I kind of tuned out because here's the thing, man. What what sidetracks me with this shit is when a woman who's clearly not okay. Like I said, I don't have a problem with women who aren't conventionally attractive. I don't have a problem with it at all. But it's when they try to start talking about go for better looking guys because ugly guys would treat you in this like bitch like okay, out of a scale from 1 to 10, what does she think she is? After she probably took 3 hours to put on her makeup on and got the perfect lighting and all that, and she still ain't nothing special. That's the part that just caught my attention right there. That's the part that just that always annoys. Because again, I don't have a problem with women who aren't conventionally attractive, as long as they just act like they got some sense. I mean, I'm cool with you, But it's when it's always when women try to bring this shit up. That's when I just lose all respect for them. Because again, how about this young lady take off that makeup and have some bad lighting and then talk all this shit? You see what I'm saying?
That a man's going to be more humble because he's not seen as attractive to most women does not work for a reason. Because he's still a man. Doesn't matter to him.
Onyx, okay, if this was your first time being here, Onyx was here, I want to say last week, and basically the thing that stuck out the most is that she makes 6 figures a month. She was willing to date a guy that made 6 figures a year. She didn't require him to have his own place, whether it's a condo or a house. And she was a freak in the bedroom. So what was the response you got, Onyx?
You broke my DM.
I broke your DM.
Girl, I have over 10,000 DMs, literally.
You have over 10,000 DMs?
Over 10,000 DMs,
Yeah.
and it's taking 3 of us to go through them. The beautiful part about it, you know, unfortunately in the comments, there's a lot of disdain and disrespect, and it's like we're damned if we do it, we're damned if we don't in our community, right? But the beautiful thing about the recent my DM, a lot of people have shared their stories. A lot of people have been inspired, male and female. So I'm really proud of our community for that part. The other thing is, I don't understand how come people are pissed off that I want what I want after failing, trying things that didn't work for me. You know, I will stand on my rock and die on my hill and with what I want. And I'm not going to go against that. So the beautiful thing about it is because of your show, I didn't know.
Now it's now going to be a toss up between her and Alexis Texas now for how bad this is, how sad this is getting. 10,000 DMs, and she's treating them like job applicants. Again, after men walk right past her in Starbucks, they walk right past her at wherever she's going to work. Men see her in real life all the time and walk right past her. And now she's got... See, here's the thing. Like I said earlier, women don't know what value is, so all they do is wait for men to assign value to something. Then women just, either they follow it or they try to become that thing, right? So for men, for a man to say, I have 10,000 DMs, that's an admirable feat for a man, because our sheer existence does not mean entitlement to attraction by the other sex at any moment in time, right? Whereas a woman who's getting all that and still can't, you know what I'm saying, sell the easiest thing she has to sell, which is literally just being a woman and being and just existing with somebody. It's worse, dude. Like that does not make me feel any better. The fact that you have 10,000 DMs and you still sitting up and can't keep no man. That's the opposite effect. It's making you sound worse. Okay, and here's the thing. I have the balls to say it because I don't want mommy to come pay my rent. All right, I don't give a fuck about that shit. I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck. Right? So I'll tell you exactly how the fuck it is. I'm not gonna say, hey, sweetheart, all this shit. Hey, baby, you look good on YouTube and all that. No, because I don't care about getting your pussy at all. All right. At this point, if anything, it looks fucking desperate and pathetic at this point, and just disgusting, honestly. Because you have the I feel sorry for her, man, because she's relatively admirable, man. But that's the woman condition. She wants an Olympian of a man, and by the time that Olympian of a man even exists, he's not gonna want her. If he's got any self-esteem and self-confidence, he's not gonna want that. Not at all. So any other man she's gonna get she's not gonna be happy with it.
A gentleman that I've known, you know, kind of known in passing for over 10 years, had interest in me, but he thought I was still in a relationship. And I said, but I've been by myself. He said, well, you dated someone that was, you know, an athlete, so I assumed he was gone for work. And he told me, you know, pretty much don't date down, and a real man won't be intimidated. And if something were to happen to me, he got me. And he happens to be he's mixed like what I mix with, Middle Eastern. So he's
just too old.
That was another intriguing thing. I was like, what are you doing watching that show?
Everybody watches my show, girl.
I know. I'm like, what are you?
The thing is this, I think a lot of people underestimate the reach of my show.
Exactly.
They don't understand, like, because we're on Facebook, because we're on Instagram, and now also on YouTube, somebody is going to share it to you in some capacity. Absolutely. Like, shout out to Rashad from Earn Your Leisure. I don't know if he got 10,000 DMs, but he was on my show last week, and he said he has too many DMs. He can't even go through all of them. And he also, like you, was not ready for the magnitude of the response he was going to get.
Right.
But I know, okay, out of the 10,000, I know there's probably men interested, but were there a lot of people that wanted to know, how did you make 100K a month?
I've had people asking me for money, begging me for money.
I know.
It's, you know, it's pretty interesting, but I've had a lot of people ask me how, and I've shared. I've actually did a couple of Zooms. I told them they better thank you. So I didn't charge them. I just, you know, educated them on what I'm doing. I've answered a lot of questions because someone answered them for me. You know, so who am I not to share those tools and that knowledge? I've had a lot of people try to debunk my income and my history. You know, a lot of simple-minded black men, well, adult black males, black men don't do that, have tried to say it's impossible for me to achieve the things I have at my age. Well, I'm sorry that you can't multitask, but as you know, Kendra, being in the entertainment industry, we have the ability to do many things. You know, we don't just sit on
Except
the
find a man.
You know, we do many things. So a lot of people don't comprehend that, let alone me doing it in high school. But, you know, that's not my fight, not my struggle. When you resort to insults, you've lost the fight and the argument because you're simple-minded. And what I've learned is 2 hands can't clap. So you go ahead and do all this because we ain't doing this.
Well, you ain't doing that, and you ain't got no man. You can't clap anyway. It's only one. You can't keep no man. What? Oh my God. Well, I'd say, man, look, let us know how it is going to sleep alone tonight or being somebody's booty call. You can't keep no man. You are truly like, again, and it's like I said, see, it's more sad when women are in this position than men, because like it's always going to be harder for a man to go out and get a woman. It's always going to be harder for a man to go out alone in the world and get a woman than it is for a woman to get a man. All a woman has to do to get a man is just make eye contact with that motherfucker in the subway or something like that. You know what I'm saying? That's all she got to do. And that man knows, oh, I better go there. Whereas a man has to do so much more to get a. So, see, for men, you can't compare the two. You can't keep no man. And then you too old, and now you want a man that, like I said, okay, she's making 6 figures a month. But so do the math on this. By the time a man is making 1/12 of what she makes in a year, he's going to go find a woman better than her. Period. By the time a man literally makes 1/12 of what she earns, he's doing better than her in the dating market right off the start. If and when he wants to. Now, whether he's aware of it or not, that's on him. But that man's immediately out of her league. Okay, a man making 6 figures a year is out of a league of a 40-year-old woman making 6 figures a month. Period. That man is out of her league. That's just that's the back end of it. You see, but like now when she was 20, you know, when she was just a 20-year-old girl and the man made 6 figures a year, she might fuck around and be out of his league, you know, just cause she's 20 and hot type of thing, right? But see, this is how it flips as we age. That value, it flips. There's nothing more she can do. Don't nobody care about how much money she got unless they trying to get their rent paid from her or something like that. They don't care. You know what I'm saying?
So, but it's been interesting, and had a couple of people that were potentials, and that went out really fast.
Why did it go out so fast?
Well, there was one, he seemed perfect until I called his bluff. I said, come to Utah. Here's how I'll come right now. All right, you balling like that? Let's go. And I set it up, and I said, call my security, we'll do a background check.
You balling like that? A trip to Utah from anywhere in America is about $500. That ain't balling. $500. A trip from Ohio to Vegas was like $400 something. So that's $500, bro.
I'll put you in the Airbnb. I'll have my security pick you up. Let's go. Every excuse in the world. Well, I got drunk. I'm like, well, all right, you want to do business and you're in a field that I'm passionate about, let me hook you up with some people. But, you know, that's just, you know, I do get off on calling people's bluff. I'm sorry. Not sorry.
Well, because here, the only people who are, the only guys who are, look, the only guys who are going to be impressed with her and what she's done in life are guys who are not going to be where she is in life. The guys who, but here's the thing. Women walk in the world thinking that okay, she's not gonna want any guy who's lesser than her. She's not gonna want him. She's not really gonna want him. Now she'll deal with him because she got older and, you know, and all that, and her options are running dry even though she has all this money. But okay, the men who are above her they're not gonna be impressed by her very much. You know, and that's just how it works. They're not impressed by that. Those men are not trying to get their mortgage paid or rent paid, and, you know, you know what I'm saying? The guys who can afford to blow $500, and then she was offered to put him in Airbnb on top of that, and he just had that was a $500. See, that's what I'm saying. All the guys who are going to come around her are going to be guys who need help with their rent, and she don't want that. She's not going to want any of those men. Those men are going to, like how she said in the first video, those men are going to be children to her. And she said he balling fly to Utah. Like, yo, a flight anywhere in North America, I'd say the worst is going to be like $700. Then when you talk about flying overseas, it's going to be about $1,500. But, you know, usually about $1,500. You can find some flights like about between $1,200 and $1,500. They come over here to Europe from Ohio. They usually now when COVID happened, flights were so scarce because those international laws were set up where people just couldn't travel. Oh, dude, this is a side rant. When I came back to Prague, to my flat here, it was in the middle of COVID, and that international airplane was completely empty. Like, everybody had their own aisle to lay down in. It was worthless to even get first class at that point because you had you had a whole fucking aisle to yourself in one of those big ass overseas airplanes. Nobody was on it, and the plane flight cost, like, I think it was between $600-700 for that, because that was the height of COVID. So plane tickets, just the prices plummeted on them.
You know, if I tell you I'm gonna do something, I'm gonna do it. The other gentleman, the jury's still out on him, but right now I have a date with somebody that I know that makes my income look like piggy bank change. And it's not just about the income; it's about the observation of things he paid attention to 10 years ago. And
this is the guy that learned that you already knew prior to my show, but then
I knew of him and knew him in passing.
Okay.
Right, so, you know,
and he never fucked with you in passing.
You never know who's watching. That's why we have to, always be careful. But he paid attention to a lot of details. He described the guy I was dating 10 years ago and how he dressed and how, like, this is a very conservative grown man. And if you all know, many of the people in the Middle East, they're very, for the most part, assertive and conservative and straight to the point. He's divorced. He has children. So he don't care that I have children. So, and he found it admirable that I've adopted children. So I said,
yeah,
so
I do
it's
too.
not,
I find it admirable that you adopted children too. I said that from the get-go. But a man who's making that much money, look, and here's the sad reality of it, man. Here's the sad reality. Like, deep down for real, she knows what I'm saying is true. At her age and all this shit, like, she knows what I'm deep down. She knows what I'm saying is true. She's hoping to get that title of wife or something like that. But she knows look. Yo, thanks for the donation. I don't know why I didn't play. That's the power of Streamlabs. If you have time after, can you finish the video? The Reddit story for Wednesday's live stream email. I don't know, because I want to cut over to Dale Donovan Sharp, because I'm not going to be on here too long tonight either. I've been on for an hour now. I'm going to let this one play out, because I really want it, because I ain't seen Donovan Sharp in a while, man. I just kind of wanted, I'm interested in Donovan Sharp and what he had to say, because I used to watch a lot of him years ago. I don't know. I might get to it. I don't know.
I have 7 kids. I'm not for the streets. He said, what the heck? You're for the clouds. You're for heaven. I'm like, stop talking to me.
I wanted to respond to a comment that
This is the girl responding to me. I don't even want to talk about. I don't even look at this bitch. Oh, that's her OnlyFans. Yeah, she on OnlyFans. I don't even want to look at this bitch. I'm fast forwarding that shit. I'm tired of looking at that hoe.
I am crying because, well, let me tell you what happened. Okay, today I had to take my car to the shop, and he offered to pick me up, and we go work out together, and we did, and it was wonderful. And then we went just for a quick Chick-fil-A lunch, and I had to get some grocery shopping done, and he came with me to get some groceries. And when we got up to pay, he wanted to pay for, why am I crying?
You too old to be talking like this.
For the groceries.
Bitches, you 16?
For my family. And I didn't let him. And then we got to the car, and he told me to get in the car, and he would put all the groceries away. And I didn't let him. I needed to help, right? And then he was like, I'll put the cart away. And I was like, no, I got it. I didn't let him. I'm not used to someone loving me this way, treating me this way.
You too old to even be talking like this.
So it's like uncomfortable. And I'm so mad at myself for not letting him just be the man that he wanted to be. And I'm going to tell him tonight and apologize. But I'm also really mad at myself that this man is probably only a couple inches taller than me. I don't know. He's probably like 5'7". You know, one of the dating apps I've never went out with. I never would go out with anyone under 6 foot. What the fuck?
Listen, this story aligns with what I said a while back. Okay, women do not know how to handle nice, how to be just a genuinely decent human. Number one, because more times than not, they don't come into the dating market as genuinely decent humans themselves, but they're catapulted to being number one. Yo, thanks for the donation in Cashapp, man. I don't know if you want me to say your name, but thanks a lot, man. I seen it come up on the phone. I was gonna give a shout out, man. Just say thank you. I don't know if you want me to say your name or anything, but I got it. I see it. Thanks a lot, man. $10. Thanks a lot, man. Appreciate it. See, when women hit the dating market, like I said, when women hit their stride in the dating market, there was no sense of philosophical thinking or anything like that. They were just catapulted into being good breeding material, right? That's essentially it. So they're catapulted into this situation of, let's just say, fame without no sense of earning it, other than figuring out how to wear tight pants, figuring out how to get her hair straightened, how to make her butt look better in a pair of jeans. And that's pretty much all the any philosophical thinking that she's, attained throughout this time period. So women have no theory or experience on how to just be a genuinely decent human, especially starting out in the dating market, right? So, like I said before, who do they go at? Who do women usually want? Historically speaking, women have historically never cared for nice guys. What got them addicted were bad boys. Guys who didn't give a fuck, guys who treat them like shit. So what happens? That's who they go after, right? And that's who they would spend all the time panicking about, freaking out about, oh, I was abused and all this goofy shit like that. And they'll live that life because that's all they know. Because like I said in videos a long time ago, whenever a guy did come up and try to be nice, a big reason why women don't like nice guys is because she doesn't know what that is. She doesn't know how to be a genuinely decent human to start off, number one. And then two, she doesn't know how to reciprocate it. She doesn't know if she feels like if she should feel like she should owe him for it or he's better than her for it. So she just doesn't want a nice guy because she doesn't know what to do with it because she's not a genuinely decent human and will know how to exist with that. So it's easier for her to go to what she knows, which is some guy who's being a piece of shit like her, right? It's because it's the like attracts like thing. So then what happens with a lot of like case in point with this woman at least where the story is coming up to this point, is she's now, her pussy is literally calibrated for guys treating her like shit. She doesn't know how to exist in peace and harmony with somebody who's acting decent, because she's literally spent 10, 15, look at how old she looked trying to cover it up with makeup, 20 years. She spent 20 years living this. Think about living in a culture where, living in a mentality like that, where this is what you do, this is what gets her pussy wet, this is the routine, blah, 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 and now all of a sudden somebody comes along with a whole different routine. She's going to reject it. It's not that she doesn't like the dude necessarily, maybe not immediately, but it's the fact that she just doesn't know what to do. But her whole thing is she's going to try to play victim. I was like, I don't know because I was abused before. Blah, blah. No, yeah, you were abused, but okay. Perfect situation. Where are we at? 2906? Okay. Women being abused is the same situation as this situation of how men see. Why do women children and see men as a piggy bank? Is because the man inevitably chose to be a piggy bank because it was his choices. Well, it's the same thing with this woman and women like this. It was her choice to keep going out there and do that, and then turn around 20 years later, oh, I was abused. It was her choice to go out there and keep getting abused. So no, this is yet another reason why I don't feel sorry for women who get abused. I don't feel sorry for them, especially unless they were tied down, locked down, tied to a fucking gate or some shit like that, or tied to a pole in the basement. Unless it was some shit like that, I'll give them that benefit. I'll give them that. But bitches like this are fucking trash, dude. She's fucking trash, and she's trying to find an escape route to try to validate why she's dumb as fuck. But she's finally starting to gain some type of awareness because she's clearly aging and trying to cover it up with 10 pounds of makeup, 20 pounds of makeup.
Only a couple inches taller than me. I don't know. He's probably like 5'7". One of the dating apps I've never went out with. I never would go out with anyone under 6 foot. What the fuck? I also wouldn't go out with a man that had a blue collar job. What I am.
Yes, you are an asshole. Exactly. Yes. Now, that's not to say you can't change, but it's going to be damn hard for you to work out of that mentality that you lived and probably birthed children to and all that, to asshole dudes like that. It's going to be a hell of a change for you because you've been conditioned. But let me guess, you're a victim because evil men tricked you into doing it. Yeah. And you'll be on Oprah Winfrey or some, fucking show or what's the one we just got out? What's his whole name? Kendra D. You end up on Kendra D or some shit like that. Yeah, I'm gonna be try to find some simple dingbat way out of it. They try to get people to feel sorry for. Yes, you are an asshole. Yes, and because you want to know why? What's this woman's name? Whatever her name is. Yeah, yes, you're an asshole because you always were an asshole, and there was nothing there that ever truly made you grow out of it because you were always physically attractive and you had options to pick whatever you wanted. That's why you're an asshole. Again, the more success a woman has in anything, the worse she's going to end up. Success destroys women, whether she just got the biological lottery or she won the lottery. Whatever clicks in that woman's head that leads her to believe that she's better than anybody is what inevitably destroys them. Like, okay, as I was thinking about this earlier today, if a woman ever has to walk into a room and she knows she's the best specimen for whatever the job is there, you will 100% be able to guarantee that she's going to be a cunt. She's gonna be a bitchy cunt. It's without question. Most cases, when she walks in that room and she knows that she's above that room is beneath her, she's gonna be a bitch. When is the only time a woman's gonna act right? Is when she walks in that room and she figures that she's not the best one in there, and if anything, she's probably closer to the worst one in there. That's when you start getting hi. Why you not just like that, man? Well, I'm a human too. Human rights, blah, blah, blah. You see, that's when all that shit comes out. That's when all the being worried about human problems and all this shit. That's when all of a sudden they care about other humans and women's right to votes and all this. See, that's when all that shit, it don't come out. See, when she's top dog, oh, you ain't gonna hear none of that. She ain't got no time to even, if you even question her on it, she gonna give you a frown and look at the other direction. She ain't, but when they start, when them years start adding up, she got to cover up that face with 20 pounds of makeup because she done got too old. See, that's when, this realization starts. Now, maybe I was the fucked up one. I don't know. I'm still kind of hot. Maybe I'm fucked up. I don't know. Give it about 5 to 10 more years. You know what? I figured out I'm a human and I deserve so much better. That's when all that shit's gonna come out. Like clockwork, dude. Like damn near like clock. You be better off to assume that than assume that a woman's gonna be a genuinely decent human, especially if she's physically attractive. You'd be safer putting all your eggs and she's gonna be a bitchy cunt. All right, you'd be safer off with that. Now there are some decent women who are attractive and they act like they got some sense and they're physically attractive. It can happen, but it's not very common. Yo, what's up, Oliver Biscuit? Let's see what's good, AD. But what's up, man? Thanks for tuning in.
This man is so great. He treats me like a queen.
And she don't know what to do with it.
And I don't know how to deal with it. I'm trying. I'm gonna learn. Yeah, I'm gonna learn. Because goddamn.
You know you won't.
Yes, I will take that.
I would tell you exactly what's gonna happen. Exactly what's gonna happen. She's gonna try to take that man who's 5'7", probably works a blue collar job. The reality of what's gonna happen is this: she's gonna call him back and apologize. She's gonna try to take him, and she's gonna. The reality of it is she's gonna fail miserably. Okay, but what's gonna happen is the guy is just gonna be happy to take her just however she is, because she doesn't look like she's fat. She looks like she looks like she figured out how to at least turn on a water faucet, once a week. So he's just happy to take her how she is, right? And hopefully get some, put his dick in one of her holes and, and all that shit like that, right? But here's the next step of what's going to happen. If she were to sit up with that guy, see, her brain knows that, okay, it's time to maybe try to be a little decent because I can use this niceness. But her pussy is still light years away from being calibrated for that, right? They actually had that man climb on top of her and thrust in her like that, and he's nice. See, her pussy, and see, this is what women like. People like to try to make fun of men. Say men think with the head on their head instead of the head of their pants. No, really, it's the women, dude, and that does this a lot more. A woman's brain and a woman's pussy are on two whole different levels, dude. A woman will like this guy, but be deep-throating these other 3 dudes down the street. And while she's in the middle of taking one guy's cock down her throat so deep she's tearing up and crying, she'll think to herself, I really like David. You know what I'm saying? That's what she'll do. Because her woman's sexual organs are not in tune with her fucking brain at all. Like, not at all. Not at all, dude. The actual act, like, I bet if I were to talk to this woman and have her literally imagine having that nice guy climb on top of her naked and get the thrusting and grunting on her, she would find it disgusting. I would guarantee it. Her face will start to turn up. I will guarantee it. Guarantee it. I would bet everything I got on it. She would find it disgusting. So what's going to happen is she's going to try. And she's going to try to force her way through it. And she won't be able to have sex with him. Or she'll try to force her way if she just gets too horny once every, month or 2 months or something like that. And she'll try to string him along. And she'll secretly sneak back out with what her pussy's actually calibrated for. What it's been calibrated for the past at least 20 years. Is bad boy, asshole dude. That's what her pussy's calibrated for. It's not calibrated for that. for nice guy who cares about her and wouldn't do her wrong and super polite and don't say anything wrong to her and picks up everything and, and carry her out the door and all. And her pussy ain't calibrated for that shit. Now her brain, she can figure out, oh, this is nice shit. I think I should like it. But she won't like it because it's not her.
I will take that. I don't care how tall you are and how much money you make. If you treat me like a queen and you're so kind to me like he is, I don't know if he's the one. But God, has he given me hope and changed my whole perspective on dating. So, just wanted to give you all an update and let you see that I'm a crybaby.
I found out about my husband's affair, and my mom died the same week. Obviously, I was pretty broken up about it. I basically went home to bury my mom, and I was pretty much drunk upon arrival. So my sister decided that if I was going to be drinking all the time, that she should take me to a place that was acceptable. So we went out to a bar one night. I was just a disaster, and I'm sitting at the bar feeling sorry for myself. And across the bar, I see this man. And I was like, God, he's gorgeous. And in my mind, I thought, he's never going to talk to me. You know, I'm gross, drunk, ugly, worthless.
But you still woman. You see what I'm saying? What's you just being in the bar and being woman is enough to sell. That's all you have. The woman is literally always for sale. You still a woman who look like you're not like, you know, morbidly obese and you know what I'm saying, and you not too shy to go in there and drink a beer. You know what I mean? That's all you need as a woman. Life is so much easier for women to get random cock. I bet the guy approached her and she probably fucked him.
I just stared at him, imagining what it would feel like to be noticed by somebody like that. All of a sudden, a guy from across the bar comes up to me and he says, I wasn't going to let you leave without saying hi to you. And I was completely speechless. I thought I was invisible. He takes one look at me and he says, do you feel that? And I was like, oh, yeah, I feel that. And that feeling was this like electric, magnetic, instant chemistry. Something I didn't feel ever. Not in my marriage, not in any of my previous relationships ever. Never felt that feeling ever. And it was intoxicating. And so when he asked for my number, I was like, couldn't write it down fast enough. So we made a date to see each other. And it just so happened to be the night after my mom's celebration of life, AKA funeral. And I told everybody about it because everybody felt so sorry for me, including myself. And it was like the only thing that was like giving me any kind of hope outside of my kids. And I just looked forward to that day. And I went to the funeral. I came back. I texted him saying that I was done. I didn't hear from him. I texted him again saying, hey, are we going to hang out? And nothing. And it was...
And she remembered his name.
But that wasn't the right word. I was living in a sea of pain. And I had no more heart to break. Or at least I didn't think so. But there was just one tiny little piece left.
And and you know what? The guy, and what happened? The guy was an asshole to her. And pay attention to what happened. So the guy approaches her in a bar. If I understood that correctly, how I understood it was the guy approached her in the bar, and again, all woman has to do to sell is just walk into a fucking bar and shut the fuck up and just exist as woman, and she's going to get random cock thrown at her, right? Because again, what is her main selling point is just being woman, right? That's it. Nobody cares about your intelligence, your sense of humor, none of that shit. Just just be woman. Right? So the guy come over there, approaches her, talks to her, and she wrote him, and he ghosted her. And she's so tore up about that. She's sitting in the car, probably remember this dude's first and last name, what he looked like, the bump he had on his left eyebrow, all this shit. And she didn't forget, but I tell you who she did forget, that grocery store clerk who hit on her. and really likes her and tried to be super nice to her and texts her and tries to email her, try to get her email address, I bet you she forgot him. I bet you she ain't sit in the car and talk about that grocery store clerk or the construction worker who been hounding her all day trying to get her. I bet she ain't sitting in the car crying over them. Right? She crying over that motherfucker who like, this is why I try to tell you guys, you got to make it clear that you like him, but like you don't care. See, the fact that man doesn't care about her, that woman is sitting on standby waiting for him to call or text or anything. So like, you have to make it clear that you like them, but like Patrice O'Neal said, guys got a problem with caring too much. It's that caring too much is what throws shit off, and it like throws bitches off of you type of shit. That woman will sit in that. Y'all ever see that movie, The Secretary, with Megan Gyllenhaal, whatever the fuck? I like that movie, by the way. If that man said to sit in that car and wait till I come back in the middle of summertime, she would sit in that car and wait till he came back now. Because he showed that he liked her, but he doesn't care about her. You see what I'm saying? And this is why, look, this is why I say, like, again, women only act right once they've been hurt, or like they figure out, like, you know, the guy don't care or something. Because again, if the guy cares and all that, well, just the whole right before her, this one, her immediate reaction was to run away from him because he was being too nice. He was actually caring. Get in the car. I'll pay for your groceries. I'll put your groceries in your car. I'll do this and that. And why was her immediate reaction to fucking run away? You know what I mean? Because that caring, dude, you got to stop. You got to make it clear you like them, but make it clear you can also let them go. Because without that other dynamic of making it clear that your life can and will move on and you will be happy and move on without them, she's not going to become, like, she has to feel like she can lose something. If she walks in a room and knows that she's going to win everything and she ain't going to lose nothing, she's going to be bored with it. She wants to feel like she can lose something. It's more specifically lose something to another woman. Then that's when she's going to be sitting in the car, recording, holding back tears, and would tell you the guy's first and last name if she felt comfortable doing it. Let's go to this next video. Let me get out of here. This is 8:53. UAD, to like but not care takes years to develop. Yeah, Mo. Yeah, I agree with you, Mo. Yeah, it takes years to, yeah. It takes years to develop, for sure. I agree with you 1,000%. Like, juggling every single emotion over a woman, that shit take, like, because it takes a long time, because women are more in tune with their emotions, so they tend to work through a lot of that on so deep levels to where they don't even realize what they're really doing. Because some of it's just in their nature, and other parts they're actually working through it after, you know, whatever Chad or Tyrone pumped and dumped her. Now her feelings are hurt and all this because she's been discarded like a piece of meat. But what have you, women get, in one way or another, women get far more emotional intelligence than us men, than we get in, you know, in our early adulthood of life. Because women, like I said, they start out the dating market in their prime, so they got a lot more mileage in these years, in them younger years, than we do, just by default for what they are. So men, like, we have, like, I remember when I had to learn how to disengage. Like, that shit hurt, dude. Mo, I'm telling you, I remember when I had to disengage from a lot of shit, and it, like, the first few times, it hurt a lot to do that, to make myself do it. It hurts. But once you get it, then it's like, oh, and it's like nothing. But then when you, like, I remember my first few times, like, picking up on something and making myself disengage from something and just not caring. Like, that shit, it's difficult. I ain't gonna lie. It's hard. Crispy Bakers, I'm always surprised that chicks don't realize that an easy lay doesn't mean anything other than an easy lay. Yeah. Because the guy said, do you feel that? And all that shit like that. That man didn't know that woman. Now, like, and it usually works out one or two ways. When a guy goes, like, when a guy approaches a woman with some shit like, with a phrase like that, do you feel that, right? that usually goes one of two ways. Usually it goes in a way of the guy talked himself of being in love with the woman, of course, without even speaking to her. He just loved the way she looked, and it just like built up her personality in his head, and now he's in love with her type of shit, right? But he caught her with a curveball. He caught her with a curveball of not replying to her after he did it, because it just showed that rarity of men who know how not to care. To show that he liked her, but when it came time to care, he had something better else to do. He caught her with that curveball. And see, women, here's the thing, women don't, okay, when it comes to emotional intelligence, women have no control over that. Once the man ends up in the lead with it, women don't know how to work through that. You know, they're like, women mature only so much for one reason or another, but women's maturation comes to a halt, like a screeching halt, honestly, around 16 years of age, max. I say absolute maximum 20, if you're lucky. Most women completely max out in genuine maturation mentally. I say at absolute max 20 years of age. And that's the woman she's going to be forever. Now, she'll try to change her personality because she realized she can't do what she could when she was 19 and all that. But, like, just straight maturation, they stop at roughly 20 years old. Roughly 20. So they don't know. But I say at max. But I say in reality, more between the ages of 14 and 16. So when it comes time to actually have to break down emotions, like do you like somebody, or do you care about them and all that stuff like that? Like when it comes to those deeper things with guys like the guy who left her, she has no, okay, with the woman, all right, close it. But with the woman before this, see, when it comes to guys who became fully in the lead and then ran that shit on them, they're defenseless. They're just completely because they never had to apply that much thought to it. You're right about that, Dark Rebel. Is that true? And it doesn't help that K through 12 female-centric, almost zero male influence. Yeah. You ever heard of the anime Beastars? I think no, I never heard of it. Most also AD growing up where we are taught to be nice and kind. However, it does not work out. This we become cold because this is why we become cold, and that is how they respond. If we are too cold, then it doesn't. Yeah, because if you're too cold, then you're like you can come off as just like kind of creepy and just, you know, bitter. So it's definitely a proper balance of cold and being cold, but also like knowing how to have fun in life on your own type of shit. And if somebody happens to be there, they can join you in the fun type of shit, but you're not like trying to drag them along. It definitely is a balance in it for sure. But let me go to this and I'm gonna get out of here because it's 9. Let me start this.
For bringing this video to my attention. Now, this video is almost a year old. I think it was published back in October of 21 by Courtney Ryan. Now, I've heard of Courtney Ryan here and there, but I've never really paid attention to her because female dating coaches are useless. I mean, bless their hearts for trying to help, but they don't help anybody. Yeah. And this is men and women. Courtney Ryan's no different. I'm not saying she's a bad person or anything like that. She seems nice enough. But I think we know and understand that women give terrible dating advice at worst, useless advice at best, and that's putting it lightly.
I agree.
Now, before I start, I want you guys to understand that I'm not attempting to be mean-spirited here. I'm sure Courtney is a nice person. I don't know her personally, so I'm not going to personally attack her. However, Miss Ryan is another in a long line of attractive female dating coaches that don't really help anybody. I've never heard of an unattractive female dating coach or a matchmaker ever. Courtney is simply using her attractiveness to make a living, and there's nothing wrong with that. Yeah. But let's not pretend that she's at almost 400,000 subscribers because of her talking points. No, she's at almost 400,000 subscribers because of the way she looks. Yeah. Again, nothing wrong with that, but let's call a spade here. So let's dive in and see what Courtney Ryan has to say about body count.
Everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, I'm Courtney Ryan, and today I have a very hot topic to talk about, and that is body count. And the reason why I decided to make a video about this is because probably every day I get questions that say, Courtney, what are your opinions on body count? Courtney, what do I do if this girl has a high body count? Courtney, what do I do for this? What do I do for that? What do you think about body count? So today I'm gonna...
Here's problem number 1. men are asking her for dating advice. Gentlemen, this is a mistake.
Yeah.
Courtney can't tell you how to be attractive to women because she's not a man. She knows how to attract men, but she has no idea how to attract and maintain the attraction of modern women. So
Okay, yeah. I agree with that. And on top of that, if a woman, okay, women do not want to acknowledge what actually turns them on because they're afraid of being looked at as terrible people and all that shit. So to get her, most women just will not ever tell you the actual truth. They're going to try to tell you what you want to hear because they're always just trying to please man, right? No matter where he is. Like when by the time you say that, she'll start out by saying, I don't know, and then think about what you want to hear and say. Because here's the thing. If women were, okay, my channel is brutally honest, right? But women will never be brutally honest. Like very few women will be brutally honest. Because if women were to walk outside and the ones who actually knew what they wanted were to openly say it, here's the thing. Most bitches want to get fucked like them bitches in facial abuse. Most bitches either want it, have dreamed of it, or don't have, or want it and just don't have the courage, or maybe just never found a man to do that to them. All right. Most women do not like that fucking vanilla fucking Disney movie sex scene bullshit. Most women do not. That shit is fucking boring to bitches. But bitches don't like to walk around and say, yeah, I want Duke from fucking facial abuse to come fuck me. Because Beyonce ain't said it yet. You see, Kim Kardashian ain't came out and said it, right? Because all the bitches are too afraid to stand up for themselves and own up to it, right? So, because here's the thing: once Kim Kardashian, if she were to say something like that, then bitches would start opening up about it. Just like when Miley Cyrus started twerking, then all of a sudden it was okay for all women to twerk because she was, like the higher woman that gave the okay for bitches to accept it type of shit. Yeah. But if women were allowed. If women felt like they can come out and just say what they wanted, it would be essentially the opposite from every fucking movie you've ever seen and all that shit like that, right? They don't know. No. Javi. All of them have at least fantasized about it. Yeah, for sure.
Right out of the gate, she lets us know that men are actually seeking dating advice from a woman.
Which is
and this will inevitably lead to heartbreak at worst, wasted time at best. Let's continue.
I'm going to go over body count and what I think about it, and I'm also going to touch on hookup culture as well, because obviously the two go hand in hand. So when we're talking about body count here, there's a ton of different things to consider, but I want to start with the most obvious one. My point number one being, it's up to you. If body count matters to you, that's totally fine. If body count doesn't matter to you, that's fine too. This is a very personal thing. Sex and intimacy and hookups are a very personal thing. So if you're not okay with the person you're with sleeping with a ton of people before you, then that's your opinion and that's okay. You're allowed to think that.
Courtney is confusing personal preference with biological imperatives, which are two very different things. When someone says, well, if that's their preference, they're 100% correct. But better than 9 times out of 10, they're referring to a preference that involves a woman's decisions, such as attention-seeking behaviors, hoe tendencies, body count, just to name a few. Yes, every man has different physical preferences to some degree. Some men like blondes, some men like brunettes. Some men like large breasts, some men like small breasts, some men don't care. Some men like a big booty, some don't. Some men prefer white girls, some men prefer black women, some don't. Physical preferences vary from man to man, and those are the preferences I'm referring to here. But fundamentally, most men want the same things from women.
Yeah.
A woman who is fit, feminine, friendly, obedient, submissive, who isn't or ever was the town bicycle.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
so one man likes large-breasted blondes, and another likes small-breasted redheads. But fundamentally, they are both repulsed by promiscuity as far as long-term relationships go.
Mm-hmm.
And this is where Miss Ryan misses the mark here. A man caring about a woman's body count isn't a choice. It isn't a preference. It is his biological firmware doing its job in ensuring the paternity of his offspring. Shout out to Rollo Tomasi. Manosphere Highlights Daily often says that attraction isn't a choice, and he's 100% right. Women can't turn off being attracted to men who are over 6 feet with chiseled jaws and washboard abs any more than a man can turn off his trepidation about committing to a woman with a high body count. A negative response to promiscuity is Mother Nature's way of making sure men can pass on their genes without another donor contaminating his legacy.
Yeah, and I agree 1,000% with that. Now, my thoughts on the body count, right? My thoughts on the body count is, okay, every man would agree. Every man would agree with everything he just said. And I would have said essentially the same thing. Every man wants that, right? Every man wants a woman with a minimal to low body count, right? Every man wants that. Now, my perspective on it is, the reason why I say at this point, you really can't, at this point in society, it's pretty much worthless to even try to keep track of that, because all she gotta do is lie. All she has to do is just say, oh yeah, I've been with like 2 people. And how can you really prove it? How are you really gonna, if she just lies, there's no way you can you prove her wrong on it. And on top of that, since guys are making it such a trending hot word, bitches is just gonna learn that hot word, know what it means, and know that guys don't like it, and now they just gonna tell you whatever you want to hear. So it's like, I mean, like, how are you really gonna know if this woman, how can you really tell? How are you really going to be able to tell? For most women, because no matter what, they can always do some type of exercise, whatever, even if they got in, which that's really kind of like a wives' tale. They end up like super loose type of shit. That's really like, for a lot of women, that's a wives' tale, I think. An old wives' tale. But how are you really going to tell? You know, you see what I'm saying? Like, so that's why on my perspective, I say don't even ask about that. But just try to feel her out, right? Just try to, just notice the little things that she's doing and saying type of shit when something happens and how she says it, and then make your assumption, and then just make an assumption. Because at that point, you better off making an assumption than her just telling you she's only been with 2 guys before you. Because how are you going to prove it? You have no scientific, there is no way for you to scientifically prove that she's telling the truth. All right? There is no way. So that's why I say don't even worry about it. All right? Because she's just gonna lie. Because if she likes you, she's not gonna tell you something that's gonna turn. Because here's the thing: every woman knows this shit. It doesn't matter where you go. Every woman knows that men prefer women who have not slept around. This is not fucking rocket science. You see, the fact that it's even come to this point. It's just beyond. This is beyond me. It was what Pops the father. This is beyond me. All right. The fact that this conversation even is still coming up is just beyond me. Okay. This has never been. It's not like, you know what I'm saying. It's like. I didn't know that. Where on earth would you go and you find a man and be like, yeah, you know what, you shouldn't get with a woman who hasn't had a lot of sex before. And the man be like, oh, word? Why? I never heard about that. Like, no, everybody knows this shit. Yes. Every woman knows. Whenever these bitches been watching Snow White, fucking all these shits for years. Any princess, here's the thing, any princess movie, any movie where the woman got the man and all this shit, and she went over there and she dressed all nice and she got the man. Did they ever show any case where that woman was sleeping around with the whole neighborhood before she went out there and got the prince? No. What do they sell as the woman who goes against the prince? The bitch who knows how to act, she knows how to be feminine and submissive and learns and tries to cook and clean and be nice to people and all that. That's who always gets the king or the prince, right? That's the woman who. So when it comes time for a woman to go out there and get the prince or the king, what is she gonna fucking pretend to be? Fucking Gianna Michaels? No, because she already know Gianna Michaels ain't nobody trying to marry her for real. You know what I'm saying? She's a nice bicycle, but nobody's trying to marry that hoe. When it comes time when if she figures she likes you for whatever reason, she's been watching these movies too. She knows what to emulate and what guys are gonna go for and what they gonna like. She watching the same movies you watching, plus little girl princess movies and all this shit. They never once show. Okay, it'd be news to me if they did. But they don't show little girls movies of brothel workers, the fucking 18 dudes a night, and then, you know what I'm saying? and then one dude knows it and marries her, and then Disney music play. No, they ain't gonna show little kids that. What they show little kids? They show little kids the princess who's being nice and perfect and pretty, and she don't sleep or she don't talk to many people, and she's innocent and nothing's ever her fault. She never did anything wrong. And see, that's where bitches get the cues from. So with this whole thing of body count, like she's all she gonna do is just sell you that when it's time to sell you that. Because she likes you. If like I said, women are like cars. Go to a car dealership and let you like a car in there that car salesman know is fucked up. You think that car salesman gonna tell you that car's fucked up? You think that car salesman gonna tell you that the transmission is leaking? You think that the transmission is slipping? You think that car salesman is really gonna look you in the face and tell you that shit? And one of these little used car lots, you think no, he's trying to sell that car. So when it comes time to sell, he gonna tell you whatever he know you want to hear. And so, you know what I'm saying? So when it comes time for the car salesman to sell you something, you know, this motherfucker, you think he really has a dilemma in telling you that this transmission slipping? Or is his immediate go-to, no, that car just fine. That motherfucker got kids to feed, all right? But that car drive just fine. I drove it to Topeka, Kansas on city miles, and I had one problem out of it. That motherfucker gonna tell you whatever you want to hear because he trying to sell that car. It's just like bitches with they pussy. Once she figures she like you and she trying to, you know, get settled down on you, she ain't gonna tell you all them stories about how she was gangbanged in the park. Couple motherfuckers done ran all through her, ran all on top of her. And she don't tell you that. Cause she know it's gonna run you off. So this whole approaching her with the body count shit, only a dumb motherfucker would keep doing that shit, man. Only a stupid fucking. Okay, here's the thing. Women know I'm telling the truth with this. Women know I'm telling the truth with this. Only a stupid fucking dude will walk up there and ask a bitch her body count and expect her to tell the truth. And be like, okay. Dumb motherfucker, you serious right now? Go ask a woman her body count. Go ask that car salesman, is that transmission slipping? What you think he gonna tell you? Yep, yeah, man. Yeah, and we selling it for suggested retail price, and that transmission slipping. No warranty, yep. No! Out the goodness of his heart. You know what I'm saying? The fuck out of here, man. Think. Apply thought to the reality of it. You know what I mean? Because if anything else, motherfuckers wouldn't believe it. You know what I'm saying? If she walk up to you, tell you she got good credit and, you know, this motherfucker be like, wait a minute, but you got a prepaid phone and you got an old ass iPhone 2, but you got great credit. Like, what the? And you talk about you got a good job, but I see this shell uniform on your bed and it's freshly ironed. But you make how much money a year? 150,000? What? This ain't adding up. Motherfuckers are ready to acknowledge that bitches will lie about that shit. But when it comes to body count, motherfuckers is expecting it. Y'all crazy. Y'all are crazy for this, man. Not y'all person, but like the men who do that shit, you gotta be fucking stupid, man, to believe that shit. Leslie Porter, I agree. The only thing that matters is how she treats you, because you will never, if she don't want you to find out that body count, there's a good chance you'll never find out. There's a good chance. Dude, I'm still finding out shit about, I'm gonna tell you a story. I'm still finding shit out about my ex-wife. Because crazily enough, one of my friends, as soon as, because we said like how we met each other, and I met one of my friends through my ex-wife. And as soon as I said her name, they started laughing. And no joke, I said, oh yeah, that's not good. If I just say her name and motherfuckers' first reaction is to bust out laughing, that's not good. I'm still finding shit out about her. I mean, I don't give a fuck. I know exactly where she lives. I have no intention on ever even, you know, contacting her on purpose ever again and for the rest of my life. But I'm still finding shit about her that she never brought up or never, it was some wild shit. I'm still so don't walk in expecting a bitch to just tell you, because she knows what you want to hear, dude. She's been spending her life trying to figure out however she can attract a man to telling whatever he want to hear. Bitches will walk around with blisters on their feet if they think a man likes it. So you think so what you think she gonna tell you the truth about her body count? This bitch is literally willing to cut her fucking cheeks, her tits, her ass. Bitches are literally willing to cut themselves open and put in Fix-A-Flat in their ass cheeks if it gets them more attention. Do you really think they gonna tell you the truth about their body count? These bitches will sit in the makeup and apply full clown makeup on for 3 hours. You really think something is easy to get out of as being honest about a body count is going to hold any value to her? Think. Young men. I think the body count, that's like a phrase for the younger guys now, the body count, because we didn't have that phrase when I was in my early 20s. But think. That bitch is gonna lie to you.
I've heard a lot of women say things like, a real man wouldn't care about body count, and I simply have to disagree with that. It's a preference just like anything else that are based on the decisions that someone has made. So that would be like saying a real woman doesn't care about how much money a guy makes. Well, that's a preference just like anything else that had decisions the guy made that led up to how much money he's making most likely. And I know those comparisons aren't necessarily identical because when you make the decision to sleep with someone, you sleep with them. That's kind of the end of it. But a guy can make a decision to, be a lawyer and something could not work out, or he might not make as much money as someone else. So there's a ton of other factors that go into the second example I gave there. But when you're making decisions to sleep with people, you're just sleeping with people. That's another number onto your body count. And that's really all there is to it. There's not really anything else that goes into it. It's as simple as that.
Courtney is dead wrong here. No, sleeping around isn't just a number. It's not just a notch or a tally that just goes onto a scoreboard. No. Giving your body to a man gives him a piece of your soul. Sex is far more emotional for women than it is men. That's why sex affects us differently. For Miss Ryan to minimize body count as just the number, that is dangerous for both men and women. Because that number determines a few different things. Number one, how quickly she can actually pair bond. Number two, how likely she is to be unfaithful. Number three, the likelihood of paternity fraud when and if she suckers someone into thinking that she's not promiscuous. And number four, the amount of male DNA floating around in her. When a man ejaculates into a woman, she doesn't just urinate his DNA out. No, some of that DNA is absorbed into the vaginal wall. You can't tell me that a woman who's got the DNA of 78 men floating around in her won't look, act, and smell differently than a woman with just one man's DNA in her.
Well, hey, let's look at Alexis Texas. Y'all remember that? She got 500. And that's just through the porn movie. That's just through the videos. That ain't her personal life. Alexis Texas got at least 500.
It's just physiological common sense. So no, Courtney, sleeping with someone isn't just a number for a woman. Her body count is the determining factor for many different things.
So really, my point in saying that is that it's a preference someone has based on the decisions that the other person made. And I don't think that we should be guilt tripping people into caring or not caring. It's a personal preference, and I'm simply not okay with shaming someone based off of their preference. So whether you care or whether you don't, that's totally up to you, and that's a personal decision. And I don't think we should be shaming each other for what we decide to do with our lives and with our bodies. You just simply don't have to be with a person that does that. If you're a guy who doesn't want to be with a girl that's slept with a ton of people, that's fine. That's a preference. Leave it at that. But you also don't have to go around and shame the girls that decide to do that. You can just choose not to be with them. It's really as easy as that. And quite frankly, it's none of your business.
Ay, Miss Ryan. So on one hand, she doesn't want to shame men for deciding body count doesn't matter. But in the same breath, she tells us we shouldn't shame women for sleeping around. This is why you cannot trust the advice of female dating coaches. She is doing her level best not to piss off either side. This is the same politically correct jibber jabber that people use to make sure they don't offend the other side. On the flip side, now it seems to be working out for her as far as the numbers go. Attractive woman plus talking about relationships multiplied by not being polarizing equals a shit ton of subscribers. So I'll give her full marks for the strategy, even though it's not something I would or really could do, as I am slightly below average looking, who is clearly polarizing. Anyway, she reiterates that caring about body count is a personal decision. It's not. It is a decision that is made for us when we are conceived. Caring about a woman's body count is as involuntary as a man's height or a man going bald. We don't have control over either of those. So again, it's not a personal preference or decision. Then she talks about shaming women for being 304s and why we shouldn't do it. She says that if we don't want to be with promiscuous women, then just don't be with them, and it's as easy as that. Wrong again, Courtney. Most women in the West are promiscuous, so it's impossible for men to just not be with them because most men in this part of the world have exorbitant body counts. Men holding out for women who have low body counts is the same as most women going after the top 15 to 20% of men. The reason why we shame 304s is because 304s are always bitching to us about why we don't want to put a ring on the finger of a woman who has the body count of 4 baker's dozens. If these girls just slept around, accepted their fate as perpetually single women, or women who get passed around and eventually married to men they don't really want, we wouldn't say anything. But men like us are routinely attacked for something we have no control over, which is a gag reflex to promiscuity. As I said before, women can't control who they're attracted to. And because of that, I will never be the guy who shames them for something they have no control over. Tall, muscular men produce tall, muscular offspring, and those offspring have a much higher likelihood of being selected to mate, ergo natural selection. Shaming women for being attracted to attractive men is the same as women shaming men for not committing to women who've been passed around for decades.
Say Javi. Oh, yeah, thanks for tuning in, Javi. I just seen that pop up on my Streamlabs thing. Thanks for tuning in, man. Appreciate it.
Plus, we don't have control over that, Courtney. No one had to sit us down and say, okay, little Donovan, when you become an adult, stay away from women who sleep around. No. We inherently understand and are repulsed by promiscuous women as far as long-term relationships go. Yeah, we'll smash them all day long. But as far as commitment goes, men with options don't commit to women who sleep around, and it's as easy as that. If 304s would just own the fact that they're damaged goods because of their promiscuity, we'd be good with that. But Courtney, nobody's randomly walking up to girls and saying, hey, you're a 304. No. The reason we talk about 304s is because they're always in our faces trying to tell us that we're somehow flawed because we don't want to commit to the physical equivalent of a sperm bank. And even if that weren't the case, I can talk about whatever the hell I want to talk about. If I want to talk about the promiscuity of 304s unprovoked, then that's what the hell I'm going to do. And remember, we are shaming their choices. These are decisions made of their own free will and volition. Actions have consequences, Miss Ryan, and that's all there is to that. Then she slips up right at the end and shows us a glimpse of her true self when she says, and quite frankly, it's none of your business. Au contraire, Miss Ryan. Now, if I'm just looking to smash and dash, I don't care about her body count. But a woman's body count is absolutely my business if I'm thinking about committing my time, energy, attention, and resources into her. It is definitely my business if I'm trying to decide whether or not to start a family with a particular female. This is where Miss Ryan exposes herself as the typical American female. Now, she is American and she is female, so this was bound to happen. But telling a man that a woman's body count is none of his business is nothing more than indignance at the audacity that a man would approach a woman who appears to have promiscuous proclivities with caution. It's none of your business is another way of saying you're not entitled to critical information that is a determining factor in the success of a relationship and or family.
And the second point is that people can change. So someone's past does not necessarily define their future, and we all have a past. Nobody is perfect, and I'm not even saying that you have to be okay with that, but just understand if your hesitation is because you think just because someone did something in the past that they're going to do it in the future. That's not always the case, and people can change for the better, and whether you want to give them the benefit of the doubt is totally up to you. But just understand that if someone does something, it doesn't mean they're going to be like that forever. There are plenty of people who are alcoholics and then they get the help that they need and they live the rest of their life happy and healthy and they never drink again. Or there are people who cheated on a girlfriend when they were young and made a huge mistake and would never cheat again. So just understand that people can change. Someone's past sexual history does not 100% guarantee their future sexual experiences.
And here she goes with the same rhetoric 304s use. We all have a past. Nobody's perfect. Our past doesn't define our future. If this really were the case, Miss Ryan, then why do women divide their body counts by 24? Because they too understand that sleeping around makes them unattractive for a long-term relationship.
That's what I was saying.
If women really believe that their past didn't define their future, they'd all be honest about their body counts. I'll give you an example. Banks use a person's past to determine whether or not they're going to approve them for a loan or extend them a line of credit. Yes, there are people who've had great credit, got the loan or their mortgage, and defaulted on the payments. Yes, there are people who have not so great credit, get high interest loans, and make all their payments on time. But by and large, banks use a person's financial past to determine how much they're going to let them borrow. Me walking into a bank with a 450 credit score, getting turned down for a loan, then saying, well, wait a minute, just because I've made late payments and defaulted on loans in the past doesn't mean I'm going to do it again in the future, is exactly like a woman saying to a man with options, well, wait a minute, just because I slept around all through my 20s and cheated on my boyfriends doesn't mean I'll do it to you. Banks don't trust a person's word. They trust what's on the credit report. A person with a higher credit score is far more likely to make their payments on time than a person with a low credit score. Just like a woman with a low body count is far less likely to cheat on you than a woman with a high body count. And if we haven't learned anything over the past half century, we have certainly learned to never take what a woman says at face value. No, a woman's sexual past doesn't 100% guarantee their sexual future, but it's a damn good indicator, just like a person's credit report is a good indicator in terms of their financial reputation. And the alcoholic example was a bad one. We all know that once an alcoholic, always an alcoholic, and alcoholics will tell you that. Any alcoholic who stays sober over an extended period of time does their level best to keep themselves out of situation that could lead to a relapse. My good friend Ed Lattimore, who will be 9 years sober on December 23rd, he doesn't go to the bar. He doesn't go to mixers. He stays away from those environments because he knows he has that disease. Him being sober for almost 9 years doesn't just all of a sudden take away the temptation. Yes, people can change. There are women out there who are epic 304s who no longer engage in those activities. But like the people with bad credit who make their payments on time, those people are few and far between.
Sadly, when I was in college, I watched a lot of my friends go through this, and it negatively impacted their mental health and also the level of commitment to their future partners. I have never had a one-night stand or been into the hookup culture thing, and watching my friends go through this and how miserable they were was enough for me to know I never, ever, ever wanted to be a part of that because they're selling you a lie.
Oh boy. Here we go.
There's no way to
the
prove it.
snowflaking. So Miss Ryan says she's never had a one-night stand or was ever into
There's
the
no way to
hookup
prove
culture.
it.
Now, could she be telling the truth? Sure. Is she telling the truth? I don't know. You decide. Let's just lay out the facts. First, she appears to be the only attractive woman who stayed away from hookup culture and one-night stands because she saw what her friends were going through. I have never met a woman who looks like her, who went to college, who did the opposite of what her college friends were doing. Birds of a feather flock together, as the saying goes. And Miss Ryan would have us believe that even though all
he made a great point. And you know, I wasn't even thinking. I was thinking in a different path that, you know, there's just no way to tell. But no, he caught something I didn't even catch. Birds of a feather flock together, and all her friends were doing it. Women do not intermingle like that. She was doing it too. Trust and believe it. I would bet $1,000 to a peanut that she was, because women do not intermingle like that. They can't, right? A woman who's a housewife is not hanging out with the village prostitute, all right? And they just go hang out at home together and drink beers together. Unless it was some severe severe problem, like, you know what I'm saying? Some severely, like, they got locked up on accident together, some shit like that. It was a total accident. They don't, he caught that, She was doing it. I'd bet $1,000 to a donut. If there was a way, hook her up to a lie detector test. I bet that shit would fail. All right? Because, all her friends were doing it, and she was just the perfect little angel. Now, I was going to give her the benefit of the doubt at first, because usually when women do act right, it's because they watch their mother go through hard times, or their sister is just so bad they go the opposite way. So I was going to give her the benefit of the doubt for that, because that logic seems to have held up. It's usually two reasons why women, two relatively speaking admirable reasons why women will act right. Is one, because they grew up in a rough life with their mother and they watched their mother be fucked up and they seen that and was like, I'm not going to continue that life. I'm going to go find a man and get some stable shit in my life. That, and or she had a sister who was just completely wild and she watched her sister go out there and go through all that drama and said, I don't want that in my life. I want a nice, calm, stable household. And she went out and found a man like that. Those are the only two ways. And now you have some rare unicorns who didn't need any of that. It happens from time to time. But for the most part, those are the two scenarios in my life that when looking back on all the females who I knew who got married and was at least at at street level was they still married, got multiple kids, ain't never ran around, nothing like that. They were never in the clubs or any of that. Those were the situations that caused that out of them. Now, for this young lady scenario, Donovan Sharp actually did a great job in catching that, because when a woman is hanging out with those friends like that, oh, she's doing that. She's doing it. She's doing it. She's doing it. Something that snuck in at least once or twice, at minimum. At absolute minimum, once or twice. I don't care how strong and all this she is mentally, she's hanging out. And again, women do not intermingle. They don't intermingle in every area. Women just do not intermingle in every area, including, I will guarantee you, if you could see her friends on Facebook or Instagram, whatever like that, all her friends, like her personal friends, will be women who at least who are in her realm of physical attraction. Meaning, you will not see, what's an attractive girl? Was that Zendaya bitch, the ones that Spider-Man? Or Lenny Kravitz's daughter, that girl. I can't think of her name. Zoe Kravitz. Zoe Kravitz is not hanging out with bitches who don't look as good as Zoe Kravitz, right? And on top of that, Zoe Kravitz really ain't trying to hang out with women who look better than her. Women don't do that, dude. They don't intermingle. That not chronically. Unless they're like sisters, or maybe like there's rare scenarios where they might have known each other in high school or something like that, and then one of them got fat and fucked up or something like that, and they may have stayed friends. But even then, those situations are rare because women can't. Their egos are so pathetic, they can't handle the other one being prettier than them now and all that shit. They don't intermingle. So I guarantee, if you were to look at what's her name, Courtney. If you were to look at Courtney's groups of friends, I bet you all her friends look. Are in her realm of attractiveness, right? They don't intermingle with that. They don't intermingle with sexual promiscuity, shit like that. Like I said, with my example, with all the women who I've known in my life who grew and they married young and had kids and they stayed in the family and all that shit like that. Those women never hung out with the bitches with 5 tattoos and smoking cigarettes and doing. They never went over there. I never remember one time them going over. Even with my own aunts. My 2 aunts were totally different personalities. One aunt, I love both of them, but the one, she died. She had breast cancer. She died right when I came to Prague the first time. But they were 2 completely different. The one aunt was like super religious, beautiful woman, but she bought her own house, bought her own car, everything that she owned was paid off and beautiful. But of course, what happens the older they get, she couldn't keep a man, because that's what the more success she gets, the worse they end up in the long run. Whereas now my other aunt, I don't think she ever paid her house off. She's, like they were just complaining. She smokes, she drinks. I love her. We talk and we talk about all types of. I really take more after her with my attitude kind of thing, like with that kind of more realist perspective on things. I really do take after her with that, weirdly. But they're total opposites, and they never. The only reason they kind of intermingle was because they were sisters, but they were not the intermingling. And also there was an age gap in there too. But of course, when you get older, that shit kind of goes out the window. But they don't women do not. They don't intermingle. They hang out with women who are right in the same realm as them, right? So if a woman went to university and has a doctorate, you gonna have a hard time. It's gonna be rare for her to hang out with women who didn't go to college or maybe just have a bachelor's or something like that. She ain't trying to hang out with them. Not a lot. That's just how. So Donovan, he actually caught a good point with that. Yeah, when he exposed that, yeah, I agree with him 1,000%. She was fucking too, because her friends was doing it. She was doing it.
Friends were.
And now all of a sudden she's this fucking relationship guru and all this shit. How you gonna become a guru if you ain't had a ton of experience doing it? Food for thought.
involved in hookup culture on campus, she knew that they were being sold a lie. Even though everything around women these days tells women that sleeping around is okay, she's the one female who was not influenced by her friend or the college campus. She's the one girl who just magically knew that feminism sold women a bad bill of goods, even though every medium on earth was telling her otherwise. Second, she met her husband on Tinder. So let me get this straight. You were on a dating site that facilitates and is the engine of hookup culture looking for a husband, were you? You resisted all the dudes you matched with, didn't sleep with not one of them until you met your husband, did you? Look, I wasn't there, so I don't know, but I do know this. She is either the greatest statistical anomaly of all time, or she's not telling us the whole story. And the empirical data, along with my experiences and stories I've seen and heard, tell me it's likely the latter. And this is the reason why Miss Ryan is not effective. People trust what I say about female nature because I've been through it all. My misadventures with women are well documented. I've been hurt, I've been cheated on, I've been used, all the rest of that. I was the king of simps, but I was able to come out of it with my freedom in my life, and that is at least 50% luck. But for Courtney to sit here and tell us that she didn't engage in hookup culture, even though she's very attractive and had plenty of opportunities and met her husband on the dating app that is known for hooking up, is suspect. Again, I'm not saying she's lying, but I'm willing to bet there's much more to the story than she's telling us. In the end, I ain't mad at Courtney. She's an attractive woman capitalizing on her sexual attractiveness, and there's nothing wrong with that. This is what women have done since the dawn of time. But taking what she says as gospel, even though she doesn't really say much of anything, what with her perpetual fence-sitting so as to not piss off the masses, is a waste of time. Now, what she is doing is better than most women out here, but let's not pretend that Courtney Ryan is a unicorn. She's not. That doesn't make her a bad person, but it does make her a terrible dating coach. That's all I got for you sons of bitches today. If you guys have a TikTok video or a video that you'd like for me to respond to, send it to my Instagram at...
Word up, word up. Yeah, I'm gonna get out of here, man. I ain't gonna stay on too much longer. Make sure, is it audio fucked up? It looks like it's all right. She's different. She can put an act up. Yeah. She's not like those other girls. She's different. 80, you proved our point. She can lie. We caught that. Yeah. I said, man, like what is there, with the body count thing, like how, because she knows you can't prove it. You know what I mean? Like she knows there's no way there's no way to really prove it. And what you think? She has a problem with lying? Every day when she wakes up, every day when she wakes up, she lies and puts on her makeup so you can't see her fucking face. You think women really have a problem with lying, dude? Like literally their everyday routine is before they walk out the doors to put on a lie. It's crazy. But yeah, most guys go through a simp phase at some point. Like most guys go through that simp phase of like truly thinking that the woman is some glorious being and give up your life for a woman, and the woman knows what's going on the whole time. We all, like every guy goes there at some point in their life. I've been there too, for sure. In the U.S., stability is seen as boring and unappealing. Oh yeah. Catch me on these comments. Oh, what's up, Alex? Alex, what's up, man? How do I donate? I want to buy you a beer. And congrats on a new baby. Being a father is the greatest gift. Yo, thanks a lot. If you still watching, man, thanks a lot, man. Yeah. Oh, well, yeah, I think there's like a Cashapp link in the... Let me check the description. I think there's a Cashapp link up in the description. Let me find my video. It's still weird seeing me. Yeah, there's a Cashapp at the bottom of the description. If you want to donate. But yeah, thanks a lot, man. Thanks for tuning in, man. Anyway, like, hey, if you still here or not, cool, but hey, but thanks for tuning in, man. Nonetheless, trying to catch up on comments. Multiply that by 3. A broad's reaction to that question tells a man all he needs to know. Yeah. Let's see. That's why you get honest answers when they are drunk and comfortable. Drunk words are sober. Yeah. That's a good idea. Yeah. Especially like if y'all like just starting out. Yeah, if you can get her drinking, and just and here's the thing, it's all about how you ask her. Don't ask her like straight up like you might judge her in a negative way. You have to ask her like as if you're totally cool with it. You got to ask her in that direction because she doesn't want to be judged for it. You can't ask her like, well, what did you do on the night of September 23rd at 4:38 p.m.? You know, you can't ask her like that because now she's like, oh, I gotta make up a lie because you might judge me for it. You know, you gotta be cool about it and just let her go and like kind of feel her out type of shit. But even then, man, like it's just one of them things. Ultimately it's just gonna be impossible. Because I remember this. I remember I'm thinking of a few girls in high school who you never would have thought they were, you know, just doing everything. I remember this one girl because her last name was real specific, but her first name was Heather. But I'm not gonna say her last name because her last name was like there's not many of them last names on earth, right? So I'm not gonna say her last name. But I think she got married though. But y'all, man, like that girl was like wild, and it got out, and motherfuckers knew. And it was a few of them though, but I'm just thinking of her right now. But if you had looked at her, you would have never guessed it. Never would have guessed. Here's the thing, man, and that's a lot of times. That's how it really is. A lot of times, is in my experience, it's usually the ones who you. Oh, thanks for the donation, Baron. I don't know, it's not working. The alert I see a few seconds ago, Baron. Thanks for the subscription, man. Yeah, you know, it's usually the ones that you don't think. It's always the ones that you just would never expect that when you see them, you just never would think that they're like that they're that, you know, open with it and like free. If you just were to just ask them, you know, they'd probably just do it and not even think about it. Like, it's always the ones you never think. Like, so when it comes to that body count thing, man, like, again, like, I'm not saying that the information's wrong. I totally agree with it. You know, I totally agree with any and all information regarding the body count. But at the end of the day, it's like, how can you really tell if they're telling the truth or not about it? There's no way you can, you know, you can't take a DNA test, you know, for that. Like you can, like with, you know, baby Kratos, you can't take a DNA test with, you know, with how many partners a woman had before. Now, if they did something like that, I think that'd be cool. And then, okay, if there was, like, play this, if there was a legitimate biological test that could truly find like that would have factual information on it, that would find it, then I would say, yeah, go ahead and do that. 100%. Yeah, have her go do that and see if she's telling the truth or not. But right now we don't have that, or at least I don't know of it, if it exists. But if that was a possibility, I would say, yeah, definitely go do it for sure. I wouldn't fight that at all. But my thing is, as of where we stand right now with technology, there's just no real point of really doing that because it's just so easy to lie about it. It's just so easy to lie, and on top of that, like it's not rocket science. Every woman already knows. Every woman on Earth, my Streamlabs froze. Every woman on Earth knows. You know, if you were to ask anyone, okay, like I said in a video last week, if you put me, Hitler, Gandhi, fucking Bill Nye the Science Guy, fucking, you know, if you were to put, you know, all the men from all different walks of life in a room, every man in that room would agree to what he wants in a woman. At least initially. At least initially. And we would all say, yeah, I agree. From Hitler to fucking Bill Nye the Science Guy to fucking AD to, you know, to Donovan Sharp. We'd all say the same shit, right? And it'd only be a list like 3 or 5 things long. And then we would all agree, yes, that's all, right? And at the same instance, you can ask every woman what they think guys like, and every woman, see, now modern women are trying to fight with the whole, oh, well, that's just the male patriarchy. Men really don't want that. But if you really sit them down for real and ask, okay, what do men want from you? They know. The woman knows, because like I said, once she likes you, now she knows how to sell that to you. You see, once she likes you, she'll sell you whatever you try. She'll sell you whatever she thinks you want. Now, some women think that they can just get away totally with looks. And we call those complete prostitutes. Nothing wrong with being a prostitute. But I think it's wrong when they don't want to accept it. That's when I got a problem with them, when they don't want to accept that they're prostitutes, but they really just are prostitutes. But outside of that, most women know what a guy really ultimately can work around, because no matter what woman you get, man, you're gonna have to work around some issue. And vice versa with her and you. Like y'all gotta work it because you gotta compromise with shit, right? But the core shit of what most men are gonna want out of women, is just don't be a cunt. Take a fucking bath. Be physically presentable, and that's about it. And we can pretty much work around anything else and figure everything else out. But that's just the core shit. She don't got to be 6'9" or 5'2". We really do. I mean, men really don't care about that. We don't. Here's the thing: most men really don't care if women make more money. Well, some men do. Let me take that back. Some men do. But I personally don't care if a woman makes more money than me. The thing is, I know the woman cares about that, and I don't want to have to deal with that aftermath later. But when it comes to it, men just want to sit down, just be with a woman. Like that's men just want to just be a fucking. Men legitimately just want to have a spouse, just a partner in life to just see a movie with, or sit in the park with, or just sit down on a fucking couch together and just look at Facebook all day, whatever the fuck. Just be with the man. Men genuinely want that. Yo, thanks for the donation, man. Thanks, Alex. I got it. Yo, thanks a lot, man. Appreciate it. That's good. Hey, you are amazing, man. I appreciate it. But yeah, men, we just want that. Whereas women, they try to say they want that, but that's not, no. Like, cause they try to want to sound as admirable as men with it, of just being just genuinely decent. But like I said before, women just don't know how to be. They have to learn decency from watching men, but even then they have a hard time keeping up with it unless they got somebody to properly train them. And even then they still have a hard time with it. Right? So when women go and say, I just want a partner or a spouse, and I'm tired of being alone and all this, and I just want somebody to just be nice to me, blah, blah, blah. See, what she's really saying is she wants a man who's better than her, who knows how to put up with her bullshit and work around it. And and all, what I'm saying, like a guy who's she really, that's not what she really wants. She wants what most women want. Whereas guys, we don't care how much money the bitch make. We don't care if she has an education. We just want a human spouse to be there. That's it. Truly, right? And just don't be, again, like I said, just don't be a cunt. Look like, be physically presentable. Don't be a cunt, and and just take a bath. You know what I mean? And that's it. That's it, man. But it's 9:47. Let me catch up on a few more comments. I'm gonna get out of here. Just trying to know is how messed up she is or isn't. Yeah. About the body count. The only thing that matters is how she treats you. Yeah. I remember reading that off. But I agree with you, Leslie Porter. Thanks for tuning in, Leslie. Dark Rebel, yeah, Bra's reaction to that question tells a man all he needs to know. If they went to a university at 40 years to whatever, not 40 years, at 40 plus 40 to whatever she said. Oh man, I remember, I went to Wilberforce. No, I didn't. Well, I did go to Wilberforce, but when I lived on campus, I went to Central State. It was across the street from Wilberforce in Ohio, and Xenia. And they were two. I think they used to be just one big HBCU, but I think they split up and split it over the years. And I still, for some reason, I still think about this one girl, because I remember, because they have to do room checks, right? And they're not supposed to go in your room. And it was this girl doing room check. And I had heard stories about girls doing this up at on campus. In the boys section, in the men, we call it the boy, in the boys sections of the dorm. And I remember hearing stories about this all the time. Like girls would just like literally go up the hall and just suck every dude's dick, like all the way up the hall. They just knock on the door, go in the guy's room and just fuck them. Right. And then when she's done with him, she just goes to the next one and do it, and literally just go up and down every hall on every floor and do it. I had heard tons of stories doing it. And one time it actually happened. Like one time it could have happened to me, but I'm gonna tell you exactly what happened. Right. I remember because I came in, as I heard a knock and I went to the door and I looked out and seen, it was a girl, and she was a good looking girl. And I just opened the door because she's supposed to just look in, and then she tries to open it, like push the door open and walk in. Like kind of like like when bitches are trying to fuck, like they do this whole thing, like they don't want to make eye contact with you. They just kind of like push the door, like just try to walk in, like she's like trying to do something. And I remember I like pushed her back out. Seriously, my initial instinct was, which is what I followed through with, was to push her back out while she tried to like push her way in. Because there was no need, because the lights were off in my dorm. I had no lights on. It was dark, and she's walking in. Didn't try to turn the light on, nothing. She knew where the light switch was at. Didn't turn, and just tried to walk in with her head down. And I remember I pushed her back out. And then I remember seeing her maybe a month later at that Kroger's. That Kroger's is still there, by the way. At a Kroger's with her boyfriend. And I'm just like, oh my, this dude has no idea. He probably has no idea. None. That she was one of those girls who did that, would go up the hallways and just like suck all the dudes' dicks, like literally. And I'm not joking, because that's a lot of dick sucking if you think about it. Like that shit would take, like, that's like hours of dick sucking. Like all the way up how long them halls was. And bitches do that shit. They do that for real. University ain't no joke. That's a university, and the military, dude. Both of those places are fucking gold mines for women. How America's set up with our universities is especially. That's a gold mine, dude. That's a fucking gold mine. They just free, do whatever they want, and they away from home. So maybe a lot of them stories ain't gonna make it back to their hometown. So they could just let loose. It was all types of stories, man. Like it. But yeah, university is wild. And especially when you get, I remember I had one girl. She was one of them kind of cunty bitches, because she was light skinned. I still remember her. And then when she found out I had a car, she went from being total cunt to ditzy blonde trying to fuck. And it was so jarring, dude. Like, you can't even get aroused by that shit. Like, I still remember her, because I remember she was a cunt. I can't remember what class we were in, but because she sat in front of me. I still remember that. And some kind of way it came out that I was one of the guys. I was a freshman. I had a car on campus, which back then was kind of a rare thing, especially at that college, at that university. And she turned, like, literally from complete cunt to ditzy blonde. And she wanted me to take her somewhere. And I remember I drove her somewhere, but she was just so much of a ditzy idiot that I just didn't even want to be around her at all. I still remember that. I can't remember her name, but I remember her. And I remember there was this other girl. Now, I remember her name too, but I tried looking her up on Facebook years later, and I could never find her. And I'll tell you her, because I'm pretty sure she probably got married. Her name was Brittany Napier. Brittany Napier. And this girl was just like one of those beautiful girls, right? Because I remember, I had her. And, well, I didn't have her, like, we were talking, right? And I remember I had walked her out of my dorm. I think it was like Jefferson or something like that. My dormitory was like Jefferson or something like that. I remember physically where it is, but I can't remember the names of them. And I remember I walked her out, and I kind of hung out downstairs because there were some football players who liked to play Ninja Turtles or Halo or something. So we would play games a little bit. And I remember I was walking back up. I hung out with them for maybe 5 or 10 minutes, man. And I remember taking the elevator to go back up to my dorm. And this dude came in the dorm, and he was just looking like, oh my God. And I was like, well, you all right, man? He goes, yeah, man, I just seen the most beautiful girl I ever seen in my life. I said, let me guess, she was light skinned with big tits? He's like, yeah. I said, yeah, that's Brittany. But Brittany was getting around too, man. Every time you see Brittany, she was with a dude who had a car. Every time. Every time you did not see Brittany alone. She was always with another dude who had a car. Like I said, it's just that woman's nature. Woman has to get with a guy who relatively became in comparison to her, right? That's just how they are, man. Like, women, they don't want just a regular old Joe Schmo just because he's nice and she like him. No, she won't, I know I'm forgetting a bunch of wild shit. But because I ran across an old classmate. His name was Shannon. He still lives up there. I think he works if anybody's up there in that area, ask Shannon. He worked in IT. I can't remember his last name. But he's a big black dude. Real cool dude, man. He was always great. I think he works in IT at Wilberforce, or at least he was a while back. And by the look of it, he looked like he was one of those dudes who would probably stay there for a while. But Shannon, yeah, I'm sure he probably remembers some stories that I don't even remember at all. I'm usually like that. Fram, you probably dodged a legal bullet. That happened at my uni too, Crispy Bacon. Oh yeah, with the girls, yeah, just going up and down the halls doing that. Yeah, that's crazy, man. How they can do that. Great channel upgrade, man. It's like tops. I don't know what that means, but thanks a lot, King and MGTOW. I don't really know. It's like I don't know what tops is, but that sounds like UK slang. I don't know. Yo, C-Boy for life. Yo, good to see you. Hey, thanks for tuning in, man. Good hearing from you. I never went through the simp phase. I never had time to. Oh, word. Oh, I totally did, Elijah. But also, yeah, I remember like I didn't grow up with any women near me, and then I didn't grow up with many women, and then my mom died when I was 14. So it was just like I had no experience with women at all. So it's like, yeah. So I think that's a lot of times. I'm not saying I don't know how your life was, but yeah, I didn't grow up with many women to purely interact with like that. So yeah, the simp phase. I definitely went through a simp phase for sure. Eight kids got a new boyfriend. I don't know what that means. Yeah, I remember I was working in the VA, man. I was working with this. I remember I was working in the VA. Now this was because at first I started in the Chapter 31 area as a grad assistant, and then I moved, and then I went over to another department, which didn't last long because it was just awful over there. Like that work chemistry was just terrible. But I worked with it was two older women. One woman had just gotten fired because her and a doctor fell out or something like that, and she was fighting to get her job back. So I was up there answering phones. And I was working with this, and it was me and this older white woman, right? You would never guess we got in conversations. She said, look, the sex story she had and told me up there was ridiculous. And the thing is, like, she was not like, you could look at her at her old age and tell, no, she was never something that, you know what I'm saying, you'd stop for type of shit. But that goes, the story she had about like every week they was like having gangbangs and shit like that. She was, and you could tell when they telling the truth. Like she said she went wild. Like a lot of women do. Usually when women go to the military, it's either to meet men. The top two reasons that I find that women go to the military, well, nowadays I think the economy's gotten so bad where motherfuckers just need a job and money and health insurance now. But back then, and earlier, the main reasons that I think most women join the military, the top two is one, to find men, and the others usually they end up single mothers, and they looked at their life and said, look, I don't want to be a waitress all my life. I want to be a part of something, and by that point it's too late to go to university, so it's like they got to make something of their life, so they just put the baby at their grandma's house or something and go to boot camp and do that. But nowadays the economy's so bad, a lot of people they just need money. They just want a job, and yeah, they just and a place to live, so they willing to go do it now. But man, girls, oh my God, dude, the stories that I got and witnessed and seen, and I wasn't even long at all with it, so I'm just that shit. That shit it's a university and military that shit is a smorgasbord for women, dude. When you think about their logic and who they want and who they trying to get with, that shit is it's literally a smorgasbord for them, literally. Where you live is like that, and man, I grew up seeing beautiful women mostly on television. Then as I got older, I live in New York, and Lower Manhattan is full of attractive. Yeah, man. Yeah. I like New York. New York is the closest thing in the U.S. to coming to being in Europe anywhere. I like New York. Yeah, I really do. So it desensitized me from worshiping a pretty woman. Yeah, because you were used to seeing them. Yeah, where you live is like that in Manhattan. Yeah, and then when my dad went back after he came here, I told him that I would feel comfortable with him going to New York City alone. Whereas before I wouldn't have felt comfortable with it. But now that I got him to come out here and he's existed when, 5,000 miles away from the U.S. And he's gone out there and traveled alone. Like now I feel comfortable with him going to New York alone. But yeah, New York is from the few places that I've been in the U.S., New York is the one place that I think is the closest to leaving the U.S. Now it's still relative to the world. It's still on easy mode because everybody speaks English. You're still using the U.S. dollar everywhere you go. And your driver's license, no matter if you got in Ohio or Texas, it's still valid in New York City type of shit. So it's still kind of on a little bit of easy mode. Little shit like that. You can just go because America is so united. A lot of it is kind of a little on easy mode because just because I'm an American citizen, I can go work in fucking Delaware or fucking Montana or fucking California just because I'm an American citizen, right? And America is that massive. I can just get up and go. Whereas once you get over here, you really can't. I mean, you can, but you got to go get a visa to do it, and it's just a mess. But yeah, man. I grew up on 103rd West End Avenue in New York City, 103rd. It's been so long since I've been out there. So you were up there in that park area, if I remember correct. It's been so long since I've been in New York, because I remember it's got to be at least it's been at least 10 years since I've been in New York. So 103rd, that's got to be you get up there somewhere by the park, if I'm not mistaken, because I think 113th was where you come out in Harlem. I can't remember, man. It's been at least 10 years since I've been. I gotta get back to New York sometime. But yeah, I gotta get out of here, man, because it's 10 and I don't want to be loud as fuck this late at night. So I'm gonna let y'all go, man. Yo, thanks for everybody tuned in, donated, liked, just clicking anything that had my name on it. Latrell, okay, I'm gonna answer this last question. In what ways do you think New York and Europe is alike? Because one, it's built for walking. The city, the whole area, it's a more walking. Even though a lot of people do drive, it's definitely New York is one of those places where you can live on a city block and you really wouldn't have to leave that city unless you had to go to work. You really wouldn't have to leave that city block for too much of anything if you didn't have to. You could survive on anything. On a lot of city blocks up there, it's kind of it's made for walking. You really don't have to get in your car and drive 20 minutes anywhere to get something type of in Ohio type of shit. So, and it's in Europe's more, well, at least I would say, every place I've been in Europe seems to be built like that, where it's made where you don't necessarily have to drive for, 90% of shit that you want. You can just get out and walk and go get to it and, and walk back kind of thing. Unless you just want to drive or you got to pick up something heavy, then you want a truck or something like that. So I'd say New York and the places I've been in Europe have that strong, because many other places of America just is simply not built like that. I'd say, from my opinion, most of North America is pretty much the opposite. They you have to get on something with wheels to get somewhere type of shit. It's just not efficient to walk many places, and many places, I say the majority of actual space taken up by the citizens, it's not built on that. Now I'm sure there's areas if you go the center of Cincinnati or something like that to the center of a big city, you can do it, but then the rent, then the part that's also different is the rent over here where I am, at least in Prague. It's still perfectly affordable for you to just go out and work a call center job and be able to pay your rent and pay and everything and live alone and have your own flat. And that's something that I think that's the downside of New York, or why I don't like and I don't trust New York, is that for most people, for most average people, they unless you're in a specified field making decent good money, most people got to have roommates. And I'm not a roommate dude, unless I'm living with my spouse and now my child. I don't do roommates. Even though I've never had a bad experience with a roommate, I just don't like, especially I don't like living with other men. I've never had, when I was at Central State, I had a male roommate. Because did I tell y'all that story? The roommate I had, because when I first got to Central State, the person who was supposed to show up and be my roommate never showed up. So I started out completely alone up there. I had the whole room to myself. It was just me in there, right? And then about 3 or 4 weeks later, this guy comes down and knocks on my door and says, "Hey, do you got a roommate?" I go, no, I don't got a roommate. He goes, "Hey, I gotta move in, man. I'll tell you later." And he was just like distraught, right? So I just, okay, cool, man, come on. Because he looked fucked up, right? So he told me the story of what happened, why he had to move in. So he said he was living with his roommate down the hall, and his roommate was a gay dude, right? And and what happened was he said he fell asleep, and while he was asleep, his roommate invited another gay dude over, and when he woke up, he was sucking his roommate's dick, and he seen it and just panicked and he said he was just knocking on the doors asking if the people had a room because he just had to move in somewhere. He didn't even tell the college nothing. He just left. He had to leave. So he lived with me. And to be fair, he was from Toledo. And to be fair, he was a great roommate. He never did anything. He never did anything, nothing bad. If any, he was a great fucking roommate. I don't have any complaints. The thing is, like, I just don't feel comfortable living with another man. I just don't like it. I just don't fucking like this shit, dude. I don't like it. Like, I just feel like somebody's in my fucking space. I just hate the feeling of knowing there's another grown man. And now if you're fucked up and you need a place to stay, then I'll let you come on. But like, if I got an option, you know what I'm saying, I'm gonna pick to be alone. But yeah, yo, thanks for tuning in. I'm gonna let y'all go with that. Y'all talk about New York. Well, yeah, I'll tell you what, I'll let the trailer play so you guys can communicate, 'cause I don't want to cut off that conversation. So hey, thanks everybody tuning in, donated, liked everything, and I'll catch you on the flippy flip. Peace out, man. Thanks again. Bye.